Yo, what is going on? Mario here in Fighting FX in Fighting Exchange on YouTube. Oh shit, I forgot the TikTok again. But fuck them anyway, so yo, they suppressing stuff over there. You know what I mean? They suppressing over there. But listen, appreciate everybody in early. Tap the like, please subscribe and share. That's the big one right now, is we need them shares, bruh. We need them shares to get back to I mean, you know what? Fuck that. I ain't even talking about that stuff no more. Uh, you know, we just need the shares. You know what I mean? We're just trying to grow the community, find all the boxing fans that could convert to wrestling fans that could convert to MMA to boxing, back and forth. You know how it goes. But oh shit, wrong one. But first and foremost, RIP to the Hulkster. Um, this is gonna be a short show. Well, I'm not gonna say a short show, right? But it's gonna definitely be one-sided for sure. We got the news earlier this morning. It broke that Hulk Hogan, uh, real life name Terry Bolla, has passed away. I want to say, was it 72? I have all my notes right here. Don't worry. 71. Passed away at the age of 71. When was his birthday? How close did he get to that 2 count? Oh, come on, guys. That's fucking assholes. Let's see. August 11th. Oh, so he had just Oh, wait. Oh shit. He was just about to turn. I was like, "Wait, is it August already?" No, it's not. Uh Yeah, he was just about to turn 72. That sucks. So listen, I want to talk about a lot of stuff, really. But first and foremost, I want to make this very clear, okay? The lines are open. In fact, let me ooh shit, wrong thing there. Don't want to share that. Um you can tap in, you can join the show. I just put it in basically everywhere except for X, but I'm about to put it in X right now too. Um in IG, shout out to everybody in IG in the chat in IG already. We ain't forgetting about you this time, I promise. Oh, hey, what's up, Kinsey? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tapping in with us. You're the best. Join if you'd like to talk about it, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff, right? I'm seeing a lot of stuff, and I'm I think a lot of people have had like a mixed reaction to this, right? So first and foremost, I think it's kind of gross. I was having this conversation with my wife, and I think it's kind of gross when a person literally, it's the same, it's been hours since we found out, and he's already being trashed. Like, that's unfair to me. That's super gross to me. I think that there is a time and a place to, like, um critically and analytically look at somebody's contributions, their life. You're going to go into the personal stuff. I don't want to, but you all will do it. I mean, not you, my community, but like, the rest of the world. And I think that it's like not fair right this second to be like, Hogan was a piece of shit. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that right now. My own wife, posted a TikTok of the Grim Reaper saying the Booker T line.
Oh, I just watched that.
Oh, did you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Supermax, thanks for joining us, man. First of all, like I said, thank you for being here, especially on such short notice. This was a crazy, shocking news for a lot of people. How did you take it? And if you want to break down Hogan a little bit, just what you'll remember him, a quick little thing for go ahead.
Yeah, so the new we've heard the rumors, and they kind of had denied rumors. We had heard that he'd been sick, for the last few weeks, but his wife kind of denied it. Um, and it's just been kind of a wild week, right? You got Ozzy passing away, so when the news broke, it kind of hit you, and it's like me and Matt were talking about. First of all, I'm not one of these people that just hates on Hulk Hogan. I am very much anti-cancel culture. I have a bad history. We all have a bad history. I'm a proponent of people make mistakes and learn from them, and I think I'm a living example. So I've never been a guy to hold certain things over Hulk Hogan that some people do. That's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, even though I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fan per se, it's still Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Like we we all love wrestling. You love, you know, I don't give a shit if it's WWE, AEW. None of that stuff would be happening now without Hulk Hogan. Hulk
You're not
Hogan
wrong.
took this to where it was, and it hit you different, man. It hit you different. Everybody at some point tried to rip their shirt off. You know what I mean? We've all done a
Yeah,
leg
hell
drop on
yeah.
a trampoline. You know what I'm saying? We've all done the too sweet. So Hulk Hogan has an indelible impact in wrestling that it can't be forgotten and it can't be ignored. Look, he had a bad past. There were some things done, but you know what? I mean, look how celebrated Ozzy Osbourne was just celebrated this very same week, and look at the past Ozzy Osbourne had. Um, it's just one of those things, man, that where it does take you back a little bit. It takes you, it hits you a little different when it's someone like a Hulk Hogan, who he's probably your favorite wrestler at some point.
Sure, absolutely. Now, I want to ask you two things, okay? Now, the first thing I'm going to ask you, I'm just asking you. So if you want to like run it in your head, this isn't the question I want you to answer first, but I want to ask you in 50 years, maybe even 100 years, what version of Hulk Hogan will be like most remembered or like most treasured amongst WWE fans? Will it be, the early rise of the 80s Hogan? Will it be or Hulkamania, I should say? Will it be the NWO, the turn? Will it be him coming back and redeeming himself to Vince and the company after all those years? That's the question I want to ask you. But the question I want to ask you first is a question that I'm having a little issue bringing up, right? And I texted a few people, colleagues that I know, asking like, hey, is this insensitive to bring this up or like to talk about it like this? Like, especially because he just passed. But I do want to ask you, um, so WWE has to do a tribute, right? There's no way
Hmm.
they can not do a tribute. He built that company, like you said, not just that company, the business. It might not be a circus today if the main lion wasn't there to draw everyone in. And so while it has to be done, does it have to be done in front of the fans? And I ask that for this reason. We saw what happened at Netflix. We know where Hogan stands. And the thing that a lot of people don't get is that it's not all political. There are a lot of people that thought he was either a racist or, a sexist, or he was an elitist, constantly bailing his kids out of horrific crimes that they never learned from and never paid for. So there was like a lot of, controversies associated with him outside of the ring, right? And at the end of the day, what I know about WWE fans is they love to hijack a show. And while it would be absolutely disrespectful to boo Hulk Hogan in that arena during a tribute, drunk fans and sickos, those are the people that would boo. And I'm sorry, it's a crapshoot. Every single wrestling show, you don't know what the ratio is going to be. And sometimes it's 50-50. And like I said, if
Where
some people start to boo and then other people want to hijack to create a moment, that could be really bad optics. So do you risk doing it in front of the fans, or do you play a 5, maybe even 10-minute tribute video at the beginning, at the end, acknowledge it on air, but never in front of the fans on air? What do you think? Is that stupid? Am I being a little too careful about it? Like the optics of WWE?
Yeah, personally, I think you're being a little too careful. I mean, where's Raw and SmackDown at next, right? Because we got SmackDown tomorrow night.
Well, they're just leaving Texas, so let me see. I got you.
But as far as that, man, you know, again, I'm
Detroit,
a person.
Detroit. Oh no, 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 no. Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and then Detroit on Monday.
I think they'll be fine either one. You know, you just gotta like, and I think there's a very small segment of people that would try that, no doubt about it. But I think people understand reverence and look at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I think if you're the wrestlers, because we talk about the crowd all the time, but we got to think about the wrestlers and how they're going to be impacted by this. Again, how many are the people on the roster did he inspire? How many people, you know, got into wrestling because they wanted to be like Hulk Hogan? For the fans, for the neckbeards, the drunk fat guy that's mad about this, that, or whatever, get over it. You know what I mean? That's the mindset I would have. Um, I'm thinking Nick Khan is, pretty stout guy. You got Turkey Al Sheik who's involved with TKO posting that Hulk Hogan was his friend. So I think you go in with it, and I think you give the man. I don't think you need to do like a Eddie Guerrero type of tribute show. He wasn't active, but you do play the theme kind of the way they did with Dusty and Roddy Piper and stuff like that. I think you play his theme. I think you're gonna get tributes throughout from wrestlers. Um, Yeah, but you got to celebrate Hulk Hogan on a night like this, man. And for the thing about it is, you know, when you really read through the leaves, let's keep it honest. You know what I mean? Is Hulk Hogan the only racist wrestler that ever existed? Is he the only racist top guy that ever existed? Is he the only top guy that protected his position? There's
I'm
a
sure
certain
they're. I'm
wrestler.
sure. I'm sure they're not.
There's a
I'm
certain
sure they're not.
wrestler that I'm willing to bet from South Texas, who we know did a lot to protect his position. Wouldn't put over a certain beast
Oh,
incarnate
I've
early
met
on.
him. He's a giant piece of shit. Honestly, I've met. Oh, I met
Yeah,
him when he was addicted to pills. So maybe you know what I
yeah.
mean. But
So
I
I
was a kid.
mean,
You know what I mean? Like I was a
but
kid.
and
So he was
and look at
addicted
look
to a
at how
child.
we think about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look at how we think about certain guys. Hell, look, from what I understand too, Hulk Hogan had really, whether people believe it's genuine or not, he seemed to have been showing signs of what's the word I'm looking for?
Deterioration,
No, like where he kind
health
of was changing
deterioration.
life. He became, he seemed to be getting more spiritual, and Ric Flair shared a story that I didn't know about personally till today. I watched him do an interview where he talked about how when his son Reed was sick and going through all that, Hulk Hogan reached out, and took care of those bills for Ric Flair, who was, we know Ric Flair's had his share of issues with money and alcohol and those type of things, and it's those things that we don't know about, right? Because the controversy is going to sell, so we're going to know about all the bad shit. um and we're really selective. I mean, if this was Ric Flair today, there would be no people with, and I'm sure you've seen the internet, Mario. There's certain comments and people are just shitty. The man just dies and they're talking shit. But it's funny because like Ric Flair wouldn't get this response. People love Ric Flair right now,
And he
but
is
Ric Flair has a
actually a
terrible
drunk.
history.
He like, dude, have you seen TikTok? Every single week for the for this entire
Hmm.
summer, he has either been obliterated drunk somewhere at a Florida restaurant downtown, or Miami or Dade or wherever he's from, and or at like a restaurant being refused drinks, and then he just goes to
Hmm.
the next one. It's crazy. I mean, like it's sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's not
and
funny.
that's what I'm
Nobody
saying.
laughs
But
about it. It's
as
like sad over
fans,
there.
we would
I do.
mourn
It's
him
sad overall.
like as fans though,
Yeah.
we would
No, no,
grieve
you're
him
absolutely right.
tremendously.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He would be spoken about fondly. Now, I want to bring these 2 points up before you answer that question I asked you. First of all, right? First of all, okay, so I played football, I played baseball, right? I played a lot of sports. I was always one of the shortest, but I worked super hard, right? So I got to play a little bit, but I was never like the star, right? So what you could say is I was one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like when you're on a team, there's a core group of guys, right? And y'all
Mhm.
hang out, y'all play poker on Saturday, you show each other y'all's girls sexting and stuff. I mean, that was terrible, and we shouldn't have done that, but it's
Yeah,
what you
but it
do
was
when
the
your
mid
kids in the
2000s,
morning.
bro. It's what we all did.
Exactly. No, it was that we were 16 and 15.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I will say that there was a camaraderie, right? We all got along, we all hung out. Hogan was never one of the boys. And that's not like I'm not saying, oh, we shouldn't love him because of that. It's like there is a difference, right? Because you have this guy who has a laundry list of people who he stabbed in the back so badly they never forgave him. Macho, Honky, Brett. The list is very
Yeah,
deep, and
but
he's admitted it himself that he held guys back. And when
oh
you're
yeah,
in a
for sure.
situation like you're doing a sport, this isn't just a company; it is a sport. That locker room is important, and the boys, they're over everything, bro. That's everything. If my center fielder was outside and I see a bunch of like basketball players trying to fuck with, bro, it's go time. Let's go. I'm going over. I don't give a
See,
fuck. That's the
that's the
bull.
thing.
And that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the thing,
Hogan never
Mario,
had
is
that, bro. Hogan never
I,
had that. You know what I'm saying?
disagree
So
because
what you mean you disagree? Oh,
so listen,
what? Yo,
right?
ask Grok. Go on your phone right now and ask Grok. If Hogan was one of the boys, Grok knows that
Listen,
guy was
because
not one of the boys.
you also if you listen, we all listen to wrestling shit. I know me and you listen to all kinds of
For
wrestling
sure. Oh, you're
podcasts.
tapped in.
There's
I know.
plenty of guys that'll tell you, yeah, Hogan was cool as fuck. He would look out for you. Now,
Yeah, they're
when
all
you
the
talk
people
about being
that
one of the
that
boys, though, yeah, of course. From the outside entities, Hogan was gonna protect you, but we're looking at things from a standpoint of, hey, man, I'm trying to be the top guy in a competitive business, and
Sure,
it's cutthroat.
absolutely. And when you're a
It's very
champion,
cutthroat.
yo, he main evented the first 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 9, whatever
Yeah.
it was,
See, but
WrestleManias. He had a longevity in the game. He had his place
Mhm.
solidified. He didn't want anyone else to compete. So he held people down that he thought could compete. And
I
again, it's about, yes, it is about competition, but
so
there's a full
but
team effort that
let
goes into
let
putting on a
let me tell
wrestling
you.
event. And if he's the quarterback, he should have the most love from the boys. The Undertaker was that guy, and he was the fucking head of the boys,
Yeah,
bro. They went to
but
him for
of the
tribal
boy, but
shit.
that's what
Yo,
I
he was
mean
the
though.
judge, dog.
But that's what I mean though. Like, and we all love the Undertaker.
Yo,
Nobody's gonna
shout out
doubt
A.
his
Thank you. I
place.
appreciate that. Aaron, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Tap in.
We all
Hey,
love
Mario, what's
Taker,
going on, champ?
and nobody's doubting his place. But it's not Hulk Hogan, dog. Like you gotta understand, Hulk Hogan. He's levels above everybody. The only one that touched him was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Stone Cold was one of those guys. He rode alone. Once he got to the top, he rode by himself. He did a lot of things very similar to Hulk Hogan that Austin himself has said. So
Sure, he
that's
took
just
his
part of
ball
it.
home. You're
I
absolutely
mean,
right.
are we
And
gonna
Brett
say
didn't give
Randy
up the
Orton?
belt.
Are we gonna
Those
say
are,
Randy Orton and
brother,
John Cena aren't one of the boys? I'm
they
sorry.
weren't
Right when
for
he
a
was
really long
popping,
time. They weren't. They weren't for a really
but
long time.
and those guys are in that select, especially Cena, Hogan, Roman, and Steve Austin. Those are the four guys that are in that select. Maybe The Rock too,
That's
in
all
a
I was gonna
sense,
say.
but
The Rock
those are
probably
the
is
four
maybe
guys
one of
that
those
are
guys.
in that select group of we're the top guy in entertainment, not just pro wrestling.
I get it,
And
bro.
it's a
I get it.
difference.
But listen, I played on teams. A lot of people don't know. I played with guys that were on the junior national team when I was in high school, right? Like there was no junior Olympics at that time, but they had the junior national team. And I remember, we had 3 guys on the team, right? The 2 guys that are pitcher and our third baseman, they were butt buddies. I mean, they hung out all the time, always together, you know what I mean? All that shit. But the other guy, who's another pitcher, he was our friend. He was one of the boys, right? This is the dude who went to A&M. This is the dude who got drafted 4th round by the Padres, right? The better than both of those guys combined. And he kicked it with the boys. So when it was time to get dirty, when it was time to get down, when it was time for things, we were going to protect one over the other. Fuck them dudes, bro. Like, I get it. It's competitive. And we're all trying to chase scholarships. We're all trying to chase contracts. And not me. I didn't make it that far. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It is competitive. But if you are going to go out there as the quarterback of a team, which is essentially the metaphor we could use for Hulk Hogan, the boys' respect is something different, right? And the fact that you could not achieve that without backstabbing and all that kind of stuff, it does, I think, taint the overall legacy of Hogan beyond all this stuff, right? Because this is, again, aside from the controversies, like, I don't like getting caught up in outside stuff, right? Like, I don't know if Bret Hart's a good husband. I don't know if he's been great to his kids. I don't know if he's, he doesn't seem like a shitty guy, but who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I celebrate the guy in the ring, the guy that I saw, because if I've learned one thing in entertainment, whether it's music, fucking sports,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, is that your heroes will let you down 9 out of 10 times. You will see them
100%.
somebody's ass in a fucking elevator or down a hall or some crazy shit on YouTube, whatever. Okay. And so I'll never hold them to that standard. But again, bro, inside that business, you being that guy, right? Plus the rumors of you, trampling the union. Now, you and I spoke on that, and I agree with you. There was a lot of hoops to jump through that, it wasn't Hogan that
Mm.
squashed that. You know what I mean? He just didn't help it.
See,
But, oh, my bad. Go ahead.
no, so what I'm gonna say is see, but that's where me and you agree, just at different points of agreement, right? Like, you talk about I don't give a shit if he was a shit husband. I don't give a shit if he was a backstage politicker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. People are gonna do what they got to do to be at the top,
And fuck,
and
bro. I'm sorry,
eh,
but fuck them. So then when it's time for us to celebrate you, then I'm gonna talk about how
eh,
your wrestling
no,
sucked.
a
Like,
hundred
you aren't
percent.
even really that good. You were the biggest propaganda machine of my childhood,
Mhm.
right? Because you told
See,
us not
but
to take
but
drugs. You
and
were on
again,
drugs,
that's the thing,
all of
right?
that stuff. It
We
was a
we have
giant
this
propaganda machine.
we have this difference, right? Okay, because we can both agree that Hulk Hogan was not the best worker. I mean, he had some decent stuff in
For
Japan
sure.
if you've
Oh,
gone back and seen it, but he's
absolutely. Yeah,
not
there
the
is some good stuff
he's
there.
nowhere near a top 20 worker, maybe even a top 50 worker. But to the
I don't know if I
majority
even
of the
got him in
people
the
who
top
know who
100.
Hulk Hogan is, they don't give a shit about that. Like, I don't, you know me, I love a good work rate match, but I don't give a shit because your persona's got to be there. You got to have the character, you got to have the storylines, and you've got to have that it factor. That, like, right now, that Jacob Fatu thing, that MJF thing. You know what I mean? You just got to have that factor about you where I want to see that guy, and Hulk had that. Um, Again,
Okay,
for
so
me
I don't want to
personally.
challenge real quick. I'm not trying to challenge back on that, like, every single point you make, but at the same time, I want to ask you this, because this has always bothered me, and I don't know, right? I'm not saying this is true. Clearly, the man Hulk Hogan had that it factor, right? But when I look at the Roman Reigns, right, they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And if they would have listened to us, he would have never wrestled in the company again, right? So what I'm trying to say is there a level of, if you push somebody hard enough, long enough, that they'll get over, at a monster rate? No, they're not going to become a Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold. But is it that Hulk Hogan had that it dynamite factor that was undoubtable when you see him?
Well,
Or was it a combination of that plus him being pushed to the moon? You know what I'm saying?
and so that's what you got to remember is Vince Senior didn't see it in Hulk Hogan. They let him go. He was in AWA. He was getting over there, and I think he did have the it factor in the look because people forget Rocky 3 was pre Hulk Hogan, WWF Hulk Hogan. Like, Rocky 3 put him on the map because you've never seen nothing like that. AWA, I think, if I'm not mistaken at the time, and I could be wrong, but like I think they had like a ESPN type of deal where they were fairly national. So he gained a lot of attention. And then, you know, yeah, and the push obviously also is behind that. The machine is behind him, because everybody talks about, oh, he slammed Andre. He slammed Andre 7 years before that. Six other people
Word.
slammed Andre before that. But you know
Word.
what you remember? You remember Hogan slamming Andre. Um, Hogan was the master of being what we know as a superstar today, a WWE superstar. Not a pro wrestler in a sense, but a superstar. Um, and kudos to him, man. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be on here and I'm not gonna act like I'm the Hulk Hogan fan of the show, and I've never been a
Yeah,
huge
no,
Hogan
you've never
fan,
yeah, I wanna make that clear
but
too. Like, I've talked to you about this before, like, you've never been a huge Hogan guy. I think like you had, sort of fallen for that propaganda as a child, and then you at some point became like a
he,
more
well,
seasoned fan and were like, "Wait, do I like Hulk Hogan?" Because that's how it happened to me,
so for
and I
me, no,
feel like that's
I don't
kinda
even
how it
think
happened to you.
it was ever that, right? Like, because we grew up in our house watching WWF, and by the time I was old enough, WCW had kind of fallen off. Like, I remember watching. So my first wrestling that I remember watching is '98, right? WrestleMania 14.
Got you. Okay,
So,
okay.
and to tell you, like, from a kid's perspective, right? Um, Hogan was probably heel. I don't remember. I didn't watch WCW until I was a little older, but I knew who he was, obviously. And like, I didn't like Steve Austin. And people always say, "Well, how did you not like him?" I said, as a kid, you look at things, right? First of all, he cusses, drinks beer, says bad words, things you're taught not to do as a kid, right? You're not supposed to cuss. You're not supposed to throw the finger. Um, you're not supposed to go against the rules, right? Austin was all that. He was the anti-authority. Then he aligned himself with Mike Tyson, who Mike Tyson was just coming off, the shit with Evander Holyfield. So I wasn't an Austin guy. I was, believe it or not, I was a Shawn Michaels and Triple H guy. As at 5 years old, bro. Because the first thing I remember seeing is like, bro, these guys are cool. Shawn Michaels and Triple H got all these belts. They have China. They got a band with them, and Steve Austin is with Mike Tyson, who's people forget that Mike Tyson was probably one of the most hated people in the world at one point.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, that was my first introduction. Now, whenever they came over in 2002, that was when I first ever saw Hogan kind of live, and I didn't like him then because he beat Triple H like right away. Triple H had this huge comeback, huge return.
I
He
remember
drops
that.
the title to Hogan 3 weeks later after this big WrestleMania moment, just for Hogan to turn around and drop it right back to the Undertaker.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that. That was crazy.
that's my
Let
first like live interaction with Hogan. So I was, but like I said, you as a wrestling fan, and this is where I know me and you are kind of in agreement, is because we love wrestling so much, and we know how much credit he deserves for where things are.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would never deny that this business wouldn't be here without Hogan or Vince, right? Like, they are two peas of the same rocket ship. Yeah, absolutely. But what version of Hogan do you think like people like? Because I feel like when we think of Ali now, right? To me, it's like the iconic like haircut, right? With the, I mean, like
Standing
the
over
mid
Sonny
pro,
Liston.
exactly, like white trunks, black belt. You know what I mean? Like that's the iconic version I see of him. But there are so there. I mean, he had a whole career. You know what I mean? Like he had a whole different landscape. It's kind of like the same thing with like Floyd Mayweather, right? I want to remember Pretty Boy Floyd. I would rather me and the rest of the world remember how amazing Pretty Boy Floyd was, right? But it'll always be money. Money will always
Hmm.
be the vision that we
It'll
have
always
when we
be
think of
money,
Floyd.
not engaging, not standing. So with
Absolutely.
Hogan,
So when it comes to Hogan, what do you
um,
think?
and I've had time to think about it when you sit your first ask. I think there will be two different versions that always get remembered. The primary version is going to be the red and yellow Hulkamania. The say your prayers, eat your vitamins. You know, red and yellow, slamming Andre. That's going to be the number one memory of Hulk Hogan. Um, and it depends on who you ask, right? Like if you ask the '80s baby, that's going to be Hulk Hogan. If you ask us, I think we think of Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah. I think you might be right, honestly. Cause I mean, it's just, I don't know. I use the picture in the thumbnail. It's like the 80s, like her, yellow and red rip shirt, classic world title around his waist, wing eagle shot. Cause that's the one I like think of when I think of like the best Hogan, or like Hogan when I was the most excited to see him, right? Cause even with the NWO, like it was an amazing turn. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like was Hogan always a WWE guy, like, embedded into the company, like, ready to be triggered like fucking Star Wars. Um, but that's obviously not what happened. And you see that like he was able to lose his entire career and rebuild it, like right back to the top. that has to count for something. People have to understand that
Hmm.
that doesn't happen very often at all. Stone Cold couldn't do that, right? Stone Cold was the beer drinking, boss hating, stunning guy who's drinking beer on the top of the ropes with milk truck or beer trucks. That was him, right? But he never redefined himself. Like, yeah, he had the comedy, shtick,
Yeah,
but that wasn't like a
and it was
redefining of the
terrible.
character, and it was awful. Oh my god, I hated
I
it.
mean,
I
his
just
heel
wanted him off
turn,
air.
you know, I mean, Cena's heel turn. We talk about, shout out to Todd Grisham. We had
Yes,
him on ours, bro. It's Cena's has been a flop.
very much
You know what I
so.
mean?
Very much so. I
Um,
agreed with Todd's assessment as well as yours. And we'd spoken obviously about it. Very
yeah.
much so. I
So
agree with
Hulk
it.
Hogan did something that, like, can Cody do it? You know what I mean? There's He's been the only one that's really been able to turn heel and then be able to come back as well. Um, because yeah, I think people remember the Hollywood Hogan thing, but people don't remember what was it, Mario? Like 3, 4 years of just terrible stuff from WCW. Him trying to do the red and
Terrible.
yellow over there, and it was
Yeah.
terrible before he left the WWF. Like it was
Yeah.
his
Honestly,
career. It was done. He was done.
I I think you could say that part of WCW's like waiting in the waters or like sinking ship that was going on pre NWO was because of Hogan. Like, yes,
Yeah,
immediately
because
they got a shift of ratings, but he was not the guy to be wrestling Luger and Sting and you know what I mean, like Vader. All these guys that he had like kind of really shitty matches with would have had incredible matches. Who knows the kind of star Vader or Sting or some of these guys would have been. If they didn't waste so much time.
yeah,
And I get it. I'm not saying that Eric Bischoff's an idiot. I would have done the exact same thing, right? Like,
yeah, you
let's
have to.
send the best
But
version out
but
there that
when
we
we
know
when
of.
we really look at it, right, like post WrestleMania in Vegas back then, like him putting over Yoko, that he was it was all downhill from there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah, for
I
sure,
mean,
for
it
sure.
was it was over with. Um, and then then he had like so to me, I think the when there's gonna be two pictures, right? And it's kind of funny. We talked. I said two eras of Hogan. I always remember. There's gonna be two images that you think of when you think of Hulk Hogan forever. So there's gonna be the one of him slamming Andre, where he's got Andre in the air, right? And then there's gonna be the image of him and The Rock at WrestleMania 18 when they do the double turn, the impromptu double turn. Keep in mind the fans forced that back. Um, those are going to be the lasting images I think you think of Hulk Hogan. Um, you try to forget things like, I mean, even his TNA run, right, wasn't that bad. It would have been better if he never got physical there. Um, the reality show was I think when we think about the things that sent Hogan his reputation downhill, I think the worst decision he ever made was doing that reality show.
Yeah, bro. Oh,
When you
good
think about
call,
all of
big
the
dog.
things
Good
that have
call.
the genesis of all the bad things that we found out about him, it
Okay,
started there.
wait. Okay, first of all, I want to make this very clear. That was a terrific point. Terrific point, and I don't know many people that have said that outside of like, obviously the kinds of shows that we listen to and stuff, but very very good point. I will say this though, right? Because I'm from Texas, you're from Texas. I've always wanted to ask you this. I never have. We've never really talked about this. So I think doing it in front of live, on social media where it's going to live forever is the perfect time. Uh, I know Texas has racist people in it, right? Like I've known since I
Hmm.
was a kid. I've dealt with it. I lived in a hood where it was nothing but Hispanics, and the one white couple that lived there just hated us. I mean, literally, like, couldn't sell them candy, couldn't be on their lawn, like nothing like that, right?
Right.
Called us like crazy names that I'm not gonna repeat. That said, though, I went to school and graduated, right? I walked on to my college baseball team. Okay. I worked in the professional industry. I've had many jobs. I've gotten along with everybody I've ever worked with. Never had a write up at work, never had a write up in school, nothing. How did I do that? Because when I growing up in Texas, I've learned how to deal with having to work with racist or having to work with the homophobe or
Mhm.
sexist. Like there's a lot of shit that won't bother me personally, right? But I won't fuck with you. I'm not gay. I really don't have anybody in my immediate family that's gay. I have a few, lesbian cousins and stuff like that, but um it doesn't impact me personally is what I'm trying to say, right? But I don't want to
Yeah.
fuck with you if you got some problems with people like that. Like, what I mean? Especially if that's what your whole fucking personality is. Why would I want to invite you over to my house and hang out with you, right? But if we got a report to do, as long as you're doing your fucking job, I'm gonna do my fucking job, right? And we don't have to agree on Jews or trans rights or whatever the fuck else, right? We don't got to agree on nothing. At the end of the day, let's do our job, be a fucking man, and do this work, or a woman, or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, right? Be an
Yeah. Be
adult
able
is
to
what I
be
meant to
able
say.
to handle business.
Exactly. So I say that to say this, right? I don't think that I think you're very right. The show had put a bad spin on Hogan's name, bad spin on the family. He and his wife, Brooke, they've all admitted that they played it up for the camera. The kid's personality never got captured on TV, right? Anytime something happened, the producers would come in and basically stage a heightened version of it, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
Dad, I got a flat tire on the car coming in from where they're working on the pool. Okay, so we're gonna crash her rear end and we're gonna say she was at a strip club last night. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
obviously I'm being
Eh, eh,
hyperbole, but that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, right? But isn't a shitty person still a shitty person, right? Like, if you're racist, you're
no.
just racist.
And
Like,
so
you know what I'm saying? Like,
let me give 2 points. First, I agree with you, and I don't want to say like it's only because what I'm saying is the door was cracked open because of the show, and
100% agree with you.
uh,
100% agree
uh,
with you. No
but
debate there from me.
I'm going to be honest. Outside of, and I could be wrong because, like I said, I don't. I try. Like I said, I think a lot of people got a lot of shit in their closet that they don't want to come out.
Sure.
Now, so I really don't buy into it. I'm very much like, I don't do the cancel culture shit. That's not me. Everybody makes mistakes. Again, I've got to pass myself. But I never really heard before, and really more than the tape where he says the N-word and stuff like that. And and I know like people feel a certain way. Um, I don't know how
I
many
see. I
people
don't know
say
if it was the
comments like
use.
that.
I don't know if it was
Yeah,
the use or the lack of apology is what it was. Because
yeah,
listen, I remember Mark
yeah. The
Henry. I remember
maybe the
MVP.
lack
These
of
are two
the
guys
lack
that
of
got along
contrition.
with the boys. Sure, absolutely. And these are two guys that got along with the boys, Supermax. Like, you had Mark
Hmm.
Henry, right? And MVP. Nobody's gonna doubt these were the boys back then, right? And they
Yeah,
were like, nah, bro, you should that wasn't the way. Like, you didn't apologize correctly at
yeah,
all. You didn't
and
apologize. You're
see,
like,
but
basically, I'm
that's
sorry I got caught. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even as much, because I think a lot of people did understand, like, yo, he was in his home. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's worse, right? Being in your own home and not knowing and using it versus
yeah,
being in a situation where it's like heated and shit like that. Like, that might be more understandable than just like
yeah.
having sex, being in your most comfortable position, and then just feeling super free to use it. Like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not the
but
judge on
also,
that.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean? I'm not the judge on
and
that.
that's my thing too. Is I also consider like, bro, we know he was in a terrible position in his life, like shit's falling apart around him.
Bro, he been having, and that's the other thing, is his life was not a great one if you think about it. Like, his daughter was estranged from him for, I think she said,
Yeah,
6 years, something like that. 8 with the
yeah,
mom. Linda hated him. His divorce, his the whole cheating stuff, all of it was capped. I mean, 2 times they got this guy driving up
hmm,
to his son's DWI and getting him off. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. It made them a different kind of celebrity to a different audience.
yeah.
And that made them like TMZ prey.
Yeah, and
I
it
feel bad for
vilified him, right?
Brooke, bro. Brooke was like a fucking puppet dog. Like, they used her as like, cannon fodder, basically, because
Yeah.
they couldn't control
So,
the
but
son.
and I think for a lot of people, yeah, the contrition wasn't enough. But also, dude, I could only apologize so many times. Whether you believe I'm genuine or not is that's to, in my opinion, but forgiveness is up to you, not me. I can
Sure.
apologize, and like I said, and we don't, Mark Henry. I think I take more than more. more serious than MVP.
Yo, you're
Um,
such an AEW hater. That's only
nope,
because
nope, nope,
MVP's in
nope. Even
AEW.
even no, that's not at all. MVP has used the race card how many times throughout his career?
That okay, it's true, but two of those times he was right. So I mean,
Yeah, you know what else is right twice a day? A dead clock.
you fucking bro, you knew I was coming with that comeback too. You had to have had that plan. Uh yeah,
But you
no.
know,
Listen, that's a fair point, and that's fine, but it's kind of like more so what I'm saying. I'm not even saying like, oh, look, those two guys said it. It's more of
yeah.
like, okay, now we're starting to pick up on a
Well,
trend, right?
and like I
Like, I
said,
don't
it
have
just
to be over
depends.
analyzing it to see that there are consistencies in his shitty
No, a hundred
behavior, and it's
percent,
like
a
leads
hundred
towards a
percent,
certain, you know what I mean?
a hundred
Yeah.
percent. But it's like the same time, like I said, you know, it's just hard to say if when you're in that position how you look at things. You know, life is very skewed. You know, like I said, I'll bring up Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin went untouched during the Me Too movement. And Deborah came out and put the allegations, remember? Because people forget. Let's see how you're looking at me. Stone Cold was arrested for beating Deborah, domestic violence.
Oh
She
shit,
came out and
bro!
brought
I
that up.
forgot
Stone
all
Cold
about that.
completely survived that. So it's
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
ask
saying.
Brock if that was true or not. You think that was true?
He was definitely arrested for
All
it.
right,
That was
I'm gonna
true.
ask Grok. I'm gonna ask Grok. Hold up. First of all, let me ask Grok.
And
Let
you
me
know,
ask
then you
Grok.
have rest in peace. You know, I just watched this documentary, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the Briscoes documentary that they put on YouTube.
I haven't.
Uh
I haven't yet, but it's on
Amazing.
my.
Amazing.
Oh man, you think
Um,
I should watch it? You think it's worth a live watch
it's
along?
100% worth the right live watch along.
Hell
100% worth
yeah!
it.
All right, I'm gonna do that then. Fuck yeah!
But you
Thank
know,
you. I
rest in
appreciate
peace,
that.
Jay Briscoe, who
Hell
is the
yeah.
greatest superstar that the world didn't get to see.
Mm,
You know, and because of some things he said,
yeah. Both
you
of them,
know,
to be fair, but yeah.
some
That
things he
that was
said,
the
you
other
know,
thing too, was
it's
like they both got punished basically for one saying something and the other one kinda like doubling down in a way that was like protecting his brother, right? Like, I'll be honest, like I have a problem with
yeah, no,
like
bro. Look, I mean, to be honest with you, like if we're gonna be fair and objective here, Hogan got caught saying something one time, apologized. The shit with Jay Briscoe went on a Twitter rant vehemently repeating and violently repeating, you know, the F word and the Q word, you know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah, see, and this is a repercussion to woke. See,
mhm.
I don't know if you saw the South Park episode last night. I caught it because a friend of mine is on the production team for that show and told me a month and a half ago that it was going to be something crazy. So, you know, and obviously like, I couldn't say anything. So I was waiting, and sure enough, right, something fucking crazy. And I think that the point South Park was making, right, is it's one thing when you're so on one side that you're ignoring things like, you know, trans women who have gone through full hormone and stuff like. I'm
Mhm.
not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. All I know is that there is a thing that happens to male bodies that make them just stronger, thicker bones, thicker, like everything. You know what I mean? It's fucking science. I'm not, this isn't my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%.
And so but it's one thing to go all the way that way, right? And then react like to the same volume. You know what I mean? Like making an eye
Yeah,
for an eye is not what we wanted. We wanted
no.
balance. We wanted fairness. We wanted reasonableness.
And see,
And
that's why I
so,
think where I
you know what I
come
mean?
in a lot of ways, Mario's like I kind of just try to look at all perspectives. You know, I'm not gonna justify your bullshit, but I'm not gonna hold that over your head forever. You know, and a lot of people will. There's people that they're gonna go to bat for you. You know, like let's take politics, right? You're MAGA. Some MAGA people are balanced and in the middle and will call shit out when it's wrong and will say when there's fuck ups. But then there's
Bro,
some MAGA guys
who? Show me. I
that
would
will
love to see them.
I know plenty, brother. But then there's
Send them to
some
me,
MAGA
please.
guys that like Trump can do no wrong, and that's you can't you know, and you can't have that. Same with like the
See,
Democrat side, right?
I'll make it real
You
quick.
get
I want to make this
Democrats.
clear. I want to make this real clear. I didn't mean to say that I'd never seen anyone. What I'm saying is, at this point in this stage, anyone that I knew that was MAGA that I found very intelligent and smart has jumped off the bandwagon. So that's what I meant more to say, is that there's nobody today that I'm aware of that isn't
Oh yeah, no, I mean, there's
spewing
to me, yeah,
propaganda. Like they're
yeah, no,
basically extensions of the White House. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I
and
don't
that's what I
suck dick
mean.
that hard.
like there's people that like I can't like I said, just politics speaking real quick. Whatever the left does, if they can't do wrong, they're gonna be right. Whatever the
Absolutely.
right does, those to me, and I think you more like we're more towards the middle where we're gonna look at things from an objective standpoint. And
I try, man. I try.
yeah,
It's definitely
dude,
hard.
and a lot of these, and so like in the same sense, like man, it's hard when you hear like okay, like you for instance, right? And me, right? We hear a lot of these people that we grew up loving. These are our heroes. These are people we care about and
Bro,
respect.
right?
And if they're telling you
See, oh, I'm so
that,
glad you said this. I'm so glad. I'm
if they're
sorry. Go ahead.
telling
I'm so
you,
sorry.
but yeah, and so to your point, if those guys are telling you, man, Hulk Hogan's the biggest piece of shit in the world, you're gonna be skewed in that way. You know what I mean? And I get that. Um, I'm just big on there's three sides to every story.
Sure.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And there's always, like me and you have had experiences where maybe your perspective on something is totally different than mine, yet we were at the same place in the same scenario. Um, that's what I try to do, just on a personal level, because like I said, bro, if you knew me 15 years ago, you'd be like, hey, bro, that dude Joseph, he's bad news, bro. He's an asshole. He's nothing but trouble. And that version of me versus the 32-year-old version of me is two different guys. You know what I mean? So
I had a
I
joke, but I'm
think
okay.
luckily, you're fine. But like luckily, I feel like that happens to everybody. Well, to a lot of people, it just depends on what. Like for me, I was lucky that this happened to me at an early point in life and not when I'm in my fucking 60s. You know what I mean?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing that's important for me too. It's like I don't want to come on here and tell
Hmm.
everyone how to feel. Like I want to know how people feel. Like
Hmm.
I want to understand how the zeitgeist or the universe as a whole will remember him. Like I'm more interested in that. I don't want like my body. Like I know how
Yeah,
I feel about it. Like you know what I'm
and
saying. So it's like important for me to just try to keep like the framework of this conversation and where it's headed.
no,
I
and I
think it's
think you're
just
doing a good
gross
job of
to
it.
shit on him.
I
You know what I
think,
mean? I
yeah,
appreciate
no,
that,
and I,
man.
and I
I
think you're
do.
doing a good job at Mario. I think me and you, I think that's why I like talking with you, because we don't always necessarily agree, but we're gonna have a
Sure.
good discourse. We're gonna have a good, and that's a good way to think about it, because look, we got the rest of the time, and I agree. This is why I agree with you 100%. We have the rest of humanity to shit on Hulk Hogan and call him a piece of shit, right? If you choose to do that, or if you
Sure.
just want to blow him and act like he was the perfect person,
Sure.
whichever one you want to do. But for today, let's honor the legacy. Like, and I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people that may be listening, or like I said, the internet is a terrible place. Give the man his flowers for what he accomplished, what he meant to things, what he meant to the business. Um, just pay homage to that. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, hell yeah.
'Cause I'm
No,
gonna
good.
jump off real quick, Mario. But
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
thing. It's like
Appreciate you. Yeah, I got bro
we
coming through. I
have uh
appreciate you.
we
Go ahead.
have the rest of time to bash anybody. And because we're gonna come to the same conversation again when Vince McMahon passes away, and I'm gonna feel the same way.
Thank
Let's
you for
give the
that.
man the day. Let's give the man the day. But you know, you can feel how you want to feel, but out of respect for their family, because at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan is somebody's father, somebody's grandfather, somebody's brother. Um, and Mario, I think you're doing a good thing with this today. Like I said, you haven't come off, to me at least. I didn't feel like you were pushing your takes on me. You were just expressing a different outlook of how somebody, and that's what's going on in the world, is we're all looking at this from different perspectives, from different
Well said.
angles. So
What a
great job
terrific
on
way
that,
to close
Mario.
out, man. That was
If you're still on in
well
a bit, I'll
articulated.
I'll hop back on, but
Appreciate you, big
appreciate it,
dog.
man.
Hell yeah, well articulated, man. That was such a great point that Mex made right there, and he reminded me of something I wanted to say. Right, look, I don't know if anybody's watching this and is like, bro, what the fuck? Like, you were just like crazy biased or blah, 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 or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I came off. All I know is that I don't want anyone to be like mad or hate Hogan or anything like that. I think it'd be super gross to be like happy about his death or something. That's like weirdo stuff because, like, you have to remember, right? Even if like let's say like first of all, I don't think Hogan, like so many people were like, oh, he helped put a fascist in charge. I don't know how many people voted for Trump because like Hogan told them to, right? And of course it goes to like a further media propaganda stuff. I get that, right? But all I'm saying is like, the guy was in his fucking 70s. Like he's a former wrestler that hasn't had a stable position in front of a camera within wrestling in almost a decade or over a decade. My brother's funny. And so anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this, right? Hogan passed, but the impact on the people that are still alive is one that has to be respected, right? Because like I use Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez, right? Senior, not fucking junior. I use Senior Chavez as an example when I was talking to my wife about this, because if you didn't know, it's Ashley Smashley is my wife on TikTok. She's, getting popular. She's not like a huge TikTok or anything, but she's definitely getting popular. And she posted what I thought was okay, funny. Sure, it was funny. But maybe not inappropriate, but maybe insensitive TikTok in which she basically had the Grim Reaper saying the old Booker T line, "I'm coming for you." Or Hulk Hogan, "I'm coming for you." That one, right? That one. We all know what that one is. And if you don't, then just don't even fucking worry about it, right? You ain't got to go look it up. And so I told her, I said, look, when Chavez passes, there are going to be a lot of people who talk about him and some of the really, really shitty things that he's been accused of. Some of it's been proven. And there's a lot there to unpack, right? Like he wasn't the best father to his kids, nor was he even close to an attentive, loving husband. And those are the things that are his personal business that got out there that I'm not even talking about, right? You know what I mean? Like drugs, cartels, stuff like that, all innuendo. But when you work in this business, you learn things. Okay. And I can tell you that my idea of Chavez changed a lot. Working not alongside him, obviously, I'd never worked for DAZN, but covering DAZN fights, getting to talk to him, interview him, yeah, he's like I said, you don't want to meet your heroes a lot because they will let you down more times than not. But when that man passes, I'm going to be very, very sad, very, very sad, because he represents a time that I got to spend with my grandfather, who's no longer on this earth, and my grandmother, who's no longer on this earth, and my other grandmother, who is, in an assisted living facility right now because she had um, a major cardiac um, issue that caused a stroke, that they believe was all stress related from my grandfather's death last year. Or no, it's been 2 years. Holy shit, dude. God, time moves so fast. But anyway, when Chavez dies, it's going to be the memories of those barbecues, and the first time that I tried a fajita taco with, pico de gallo on it as a kid, because it was always too spicy and I never wanted it. I tried it one time when I was like 3, fucking burned the shit out of my tongue, hated it, but I'll never forget Chavez de la Hoya and trying it for the first time and being like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. Um, I was a kid, I was young, and life was easier. It was simpler. I got to see my friends every day, like literally every day. And yeah, so it's like a thing where Hogan's death, it impacts people that are like still alive, like walking this earth, right? And there are a lot of people that are gonna like remember, the time they watched WrestleMania with their brother who died of cancer, or their wife who was like a big Hogan fan for some reason, and like all these types of things, it impacts those people too. You know what I mean? To like constantly see that this person that, and that's the other part. It's like there's so many people that are just casual wrestling fans that don't know that, they've accused Hogan of, derailing a wrestler union, or that he actively held back Bret Hart and other wrestlers like Honky Tonk Man. and that Randy Savage reportedly punched him in the face, and that's the reason he has the black eye at WrestleMania 9. Like, a lot of these things aren't known by the casual wrestling fan, right? And so when he dies, it's more a reaction to the nostalgia that brings awareness to a life that no longer exists, right? Like a world that no longer exists. Um, you get used to doing things, right? Like for years, I knew I was going to my grandmother's for Christmas and then coming back to my other grandmother's for Christmas before going to our house and opening presents at midnight. And that was my life for a long time, and now it's like Christmas today means something very, very different. And the people that are alive and like actively in your life, like, I guess, like from an entertainment standpoint, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. It's just sucks, dude. You know what I mean? It sucks. Like, you don't want to feel that way when you're thinking about other stuff. Like, yeah, you're talking about Hogan being a, POS, and that's fine. Your opinion, feel free to express it, but he's gone. The only people that are seeing it right now at this point are the people that are hurting the most, right? Because like this window is left open for the people that are hurting the most. I would hope that none of them are on social media at all, right? But that said, that's not the point. Um, it impacts them. You know what I mean? Brooke Hogan was estranged from her father for years. Now, Supermex had mentioned earlier that there had been a lot of rumors and denials and things of his health, which he absolutely was right about and, spot on. And so hopefully Brooke got the chance, to know ahead of time and be able to make that decision whether or not to, reconcile the before she couldn't anymore. But if she didn't, dude, like that's fucking hard, bro. That's so hard. So hard to have a father, even if he mistreated you in your opinion or in reality, whatever. Even if he was, abusive or whatever, like he's still your dad, you know what I mean? And he's gone. And now you can never say goodbye. And the last thing you want to see is somebody talking shit about him because of a clip from a fake show. So I don't know. Let me see. Supermex said, perfectly said, Mario. Now, many 40-plus-year-old men have a fond memory in their heart of their dad taking them to see their hero in Hulk Hogan. Those inner children are mourning. Absolutely. Yes, we all have that inner child inside of us, right? And it sucks because as men, we don't really get to tap into it as much. We wake up, we are immediately getting ready for work. Then we head out and we go to work and we do our jobs with assholes and people that are just like dicks or whatever, and a boss that has no interest in you at all, just making sure the cog is running right. And yeah, how often does a father of 2 or 3 children get to feel like a kid? Now the best fathers, in my opinion, are the ones who make it a priority to feel like a kid when they're with their kids, right? There's nothing more that your kids love than you wigging out with them over something they love, right? Like my niece loves wrestling, and I know she loves it because me and my brother love it. You know what I mean? Like she likes seeing us excited. She likes being excited with us. She likes that we can have this thing where we can go to the show, and just, you know, wig out, like just I guess be kids, but that's not really what I mean. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, oh wait, he Mex said I read a post earlier that said she did get to talk and see her dad recently. Good, good. That's really good because that kind of pain is that's tough. That's a tough kind of pain. I don't know it. I can only try to empathize, but I'm sure I'd never even be able to touch the depths of that kind of issue. But that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad for him too. But for her especially, because again, these are the people that are like still walking, still mourning, and that's important. At the same time, I feel that transparency is always the best. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a weird thing, I guess, to bring this part up. You know what? I'll just save this for a little bit later. Hold on. Ash? Oh, I didn't know you were back. All right. So I think that this has been a rather productive discussion on the Hulkster and his place amongst the stars in wrestling. And I want to address something as well, right? People keep talking about like this this list, right? This Mount Rushmore is what they refer to it. Real quick, Mick said, "No, I agree there too, Mario. I'm not the person who's going to change my opinion of you just because you die either. Like when Brett dies, I won't tell you to your face that he was. Oh wait, when Brett dies, I won't yell in your face that he was a whiny cunt, but I'll still feel that way. Hilarious. Ryan, what is going on? The Lion, where you at?
Can you see me?
Yeah, you're at the homeless shelter. No, where you at? Are you at a strip club? Oh,
Why would I be at the strip club?
I don't know. What the fuck is that window right there, bro?
The hell?
Oh, my bad. Why don't you take us to the pole dancing class?
What happened?
I said, why don't you take us to the pole dancing class?
The hell?
So my viewers can see. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Hey man, so we're talking about Hogan, what we'll remember him for.
He's dead.
Bro, what? Come on, big dog. That's too
No.
far. Come on. Listen, I think that it's I've seen a lot of people talking shit online about him and how he's a big giant piece of shit and a racist and all this. My question is it fair? Like, should people hold off? Should there be like at least a 24-hour hold off before the negative shit starts, or is it fair to just trash anybody at any time if they were a piece of shit?
Well, yeah. I mean, you could trash it whenever.
Really? Wow. So you don't think it's in bad taste? Like Ash's tweet or TikTok. Did you think that was in bad taste or just funny?
It was funny.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I don't know. I just feel like, his family's still alive, right? They have to see that stuff. Like Hogan's gone. Who are we convincing by putting this stuff so soon, right? The content's going to be relevant tomorrow.
He didn't talk to his daughter for a year. She hated him. The wife hates him. The son,
listen,
who knows about the son? Like, does he have anything that likes him?
No, listen, you're right. He doesn't. And I was telling Supermax earlier, like he was never one of the boys, right? Like you played ball at a high level, right? You were one of the best players on the team, so you were part of the boys, right? You were a big part of them, right? When you're part of the boys, like y'all are all a group. If you're outside that group, bro, it's because you're not the one to fuck with. It's because you're a backstabber or you cheat at poker or you flirt with the girlfriends. Like whatever reason it is that you're a giant piece of shit and you don't get to kick it with the boys, that's you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think that's telling. But do we need to like holler it? Like, do we need to make videos of it right now? Should there be TikToks an hour after he died reminding people that he was a giant piece of shit? Is that necessary?
Well, I mean, think about it. It's all over the internet for everyone to see.
That's my point, bro. Like
he said he doesn't want his daughter to have a what is it? to be with a black guy unless
Oh, I
he
forgot
can
that
make
one.
millions of dollars. And he didn't say black person, by the
Mex
way.
said, yeah. Mex said that thing too. He was like, oh, he got caught one time. And I remembered in my head, wait, I thought there was another time too. That was the other time. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah,
Hulk
I guess
Hogan, yeah, I
you were
mean,
never a fan of Hogan. When we were kids, you did not
but
ever. I mean, you were young for Hulkamania though.
yeah, but I mean, I think the biggest death of the week was Ozzy Osbourne. But you know
Nah, bro, it was the Huxtable.
what?
Bro, it was the Huxtable. But bro, I'll tell you right now, our entire childhood, bro, took L's this week and today. Bro, did you hear what happened
What
at Chuck E. Cheese?
the hell?
Dude,
What?
look. You see it? They arrested Chucky today.
Here in Corpus?
Nah, it was somewhere in Tallahassee. But look, bro, they took him out in handcuffs. This is real. They arrested him and walked into the car so that he wouldn't freak out the kids
What the hell?
with his
There's
mask
like a
off.
million Chuckies. Like, you know what? My Chucky here in Corpus. Like,
Yeah, but this guy was arrested for credit card fraud. But yeah, bro, Chucky down bad. Hulkster
damn, that's
gone.
wrong. They didn't even like take off the fucking mask.
I know. Look at these kids in the back, bro. They're like, holy shit, he must be a rat. Yeah. Was that
Who made
good?
that joke?
Me?
No.
The hell?
Not,
What do you mean?
you had to
Who
steal
made
it.
that joke?
Yeah.
I
By the
made
way,
that
dude,
fucking joke.
you need to come give me my glasses, dude. I can't see.
Oh, I know. I keep forgetting. My bad. Can you come over here and pick them up, and then you could just real quick do my edge up?
Dude, I can do it tomorrow in the morning.
God damn it.
I can, dude.
Oh,
I
they
can't
said
even
Chucky
see.
had an expired visa, allegedly. Is that true?
real?
Yeah, my bad, dude. I'll bring him to you. I will. What time are you leaving the shop?
In like 45 minutes.
Okay, cool. Hey, real quick, I want to ask you, do you think Xander Zayas could be the biggest Puerto Rico star ever?
Dude, you know what? I was thinking about that earlier. I don't know, man. Tito Trinidad was huge. But I mean, do I think he'll be the biggest? No. Do I think he could be the best? I think that's another one.
The
That's another
best.
thing.
Ooh,
Not
shit.
the biggest.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. No. I totally understand what you're saying. Could
No,
he be
not
the
the biggest.
best?
Tito Trinidad was the biggest.
No. I totally understand what you're saying. The best in terms of talent in the ring, not biggest in terms of name or commercial value,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah,
still
yeah,
think
yeah.
Trinidad will be a bigger commodity?
Yeah, dude. I mean, Tito
Wait.
Trinidad.
Was Trinidad was bigger than Cotto? That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Cotto
Absolutely.
transcended in a way that Trinidad didn't. Trinidad stayed a Puerto Rican star. Cotto kind of became like a hybrid.
You could honestly argue, though, that boxing was in a more popular place, though, during the Trinidad era with De La Hoya. I mean, dude, I don't care what you say. De La Hoya in Trinidad was way bigger than, Cotto and Mayweather, Cotto and Pacquiao.
Yeah, that's true. Although Cotto Mosley is super underrated. I'm not saying it was as big as that, obviously, but that was an underrated fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. That is a very fair point. I don't know. I feel like Trinidad doesn't get the respect he does, though, because I'm thinking, like, man, is it that hard to top where Trinidad was? But he was loved by the whole country, though.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, dude, they had parades and everything for him. Like,
yeah, no, I know. You know, I feel like boxing doesn't thrive as much as it can without a Puerto Rican star, really. I mean, without a Mexican star, there's no sport, right? But without a Puerto Rican star, I feel like it's not thriving like it could.
Dude, Xander Zayas, though, honestly, I love Top Rank because I think they really go out for their fighters. But I hate Top Rank because don't you feel like they keep them on the training wheels for way too long?
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. You get fed that Top Rank diet forever, and you know, but at the same time, like, you look at what happens when you don't follow that regiment. You get a Ryan Garcia that turns to shit. You know what I mean? Like if you know your guy's not ready and you're not putting him in there. And it may be that they don't think Xander's ready. I do. I don't know why they don't. If that's the case, but yeah, I think Xander's shown enough for me to believe, like you said, that he could be the best Puerto Rican fighter that we've ever had, like at this level.
Yeah. No, I mean, uh,
In a long
this
time for
weekend
sure.
I think this is going to be his best competition he's fought this weekend, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, is this like his first time going 12 rounds? Also, no, I'm serious.
Nah,
Is it?
I don't think it is. Nah, I don't think so.
He's
Let me see.
fought 12
Wait, is
rounds
it?
before?
I don't think he's gone 12 rounds, but hasn't he?
No, I said, has he fought in 12 rounds?
Oh, no.
Like,
Not
has he
yet.
fought in a 12-round fight?
Let me see. Has Xander fought in 12? Let's see what Grok says. Grok says, yes, Xander Zayas has fought in a 12-round boxing match. His first 12-round fight is scheduled to say, what the fuck, Grok? Are you retarded?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
guess it
think
is his
he's-
first. You're right. No, you're right.
I mean,
Xander
you
better
could go-
listen to
you
Top
could-
Rank before he ends up like Berlanga. See, that's what I'm saying. Berlanga. Ooh, that's another good one. But
Mauro, you
Berlanga's
could go
different
to
because he
go to
sucked so bad.
Botrek.
They knew they had to
Botrek will
catch him
tell
out.
you. Botrek will tell you.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't go to. I had Grok open, is why I used it. Hey, did you see the South Park thing?
Yes, I did. But no, Xander Zayas. Now we're talking about what I love. Xander Zayas.
Xander,
No.
you love Xander? That's weird.
No, I
You love
love
Puerto Rican men?
Xander Zayas definitely could be a great, but I mean, man, dude, like it's time we start seeing him, dude. I remember when he fought here. Remember when he fought here? Dude, that Mexican guy he fought, that was a war.
Yeah, it was, bro. But that guy was tough, though. He took fucking shots and just didn't go anywhere, bro. That was a tough night on Xander, but I thought he handled it well, though.
Yeah, that guy didn't go anywhere, but Xander finally put him out. I mean,
damn, Super Mech said Trinidad was a dirty cheat who loaded his gloves. Fuck his respect. Fuck, bro. When did Trinidad load his gloves? I don't remember that.
did he?
Oh, Mech's over here making up rumors and shit. Hey, I hate Trinidad too, so I'm just gonna make it up too. Yeah, bro. He loaded his hands all the time. He was the one who loaded Margarito's hands. What are you talking about? No, I'm playing.
Whether he did or not, I mean, he was still the biggest. He was still the
No.
biggest
Absolutely, for sure.
Like,
No, 100%. Yeah, the whole country loved him. It was, and that was the thing is New York loved Cotto more. I think America loved Cotto more than America loved Trinidad, right? But Puerto Rico as a country loved Trinidad far more than they loved Cotto.
The Puerto Rican Americans loved him
Americans.
more.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, I think it's because Cotto still lived, right? Didn't he still live in the U.S. a lot?
Yeah, dude, he stayed in Florida
and I think Puerto
Vegas.
Rico. I think Tito Trinidad was for sure like he was.
Nah, he stayed in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah,
he got caught before the Hopkins fight. He was also caught by brother Nazim. No, Trinidad was caught by brother Nazim. I don't remember that.
He was caught in the Hopkins fight. What?
Loading his raps? Do you remember that?
I don't.
Me neither. Huh.
I need to go back and see that.
All I know is, yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin was. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you remember Stone Cold beating Deborah? Like in real life?
Dude, I thought that's what happened. Yes, right?
Right? Yeah, no, I forgot too, dude. Super Mex reminded me because we were talking about Hogan and then he was like, look, Stone Cold has his shit and nobody's going to say that when he dies. And I was like, oh, shit, I forgot he beat Deborah's ass, right?
But no,
My bad, I shouldn't have said it that way.
I thought that's not what it was about. I thought it was about him also saying the N-word like a million.
Stone Cold? I don't remember him saying the N-word. I mean, yeah, on fucking yeah, he said the N-word on your favorite Adam Sandler movie. All right, I guess he just dropped off. Yeah, so Mex reminded us all, and I want to be as thorough as I can. I'm a fan of Stone Cold. He was my favorite wrestler when Bret Hart made the transfer to WCW. And I love Stone Cold. He was the best, awesome, definitely helped. Here's the thing. If Hogan helped build this company, Stone Cold Steve Austin saved it because it would have died. Hogan simultaneously built the WWE while also acting as the main conspirator to kill it. And what has to be understood is that Hogan and Eric Bischoff had their foot on the neck of WWE, known as WWF at the time, to the point where they were losing so much money. And Vince has said many times on record that he did think that they would ultimately fold. They didn't. They won. And a big part of that, I think the biggest part of that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. It has to be. What up, Mex?
All right. Now listen.
I'm going to look up your thing real quick, what you said.
Yes, because even in the if you rewatch the telecast, HBO and Lampley, they're talking about how Brother Nazim pointed out something about the raps. Trinidad was forced to rewrap his hands.
No, bro, you're mixing that up with Margarito and Mosley. That was
No,
Brother Nazim in
well,
that fight.
it was also with the Hopkins,
All right, let me
2001,
look up.
post 9/11.
Bro, I don't remember that. That's crazy. You and my brother, bro, y'all have the two best memories I've ever known.
Well, I also go back and rewatch a lot of shit because
The
see that's the
question,
thing too, Mario, is I like to go back and rewatch things and like events as they happen because I like to try to remember how things were viewed at that time.
yeah, I love doing that too. I really
You know,
do.
because it's easy for us to have revisionist history. I
Well,
mean, we see it now,
I
right? Like, bro, in boxing, especially, right? Like nowadays, people will tell
mhm.
you, "Well, Canelo never fought nobody. He fought Triple G, but it's because everybody knew he could beat him." It's like, what the
Well,
fuck are you talking about?
oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely, hell yeah. And here's the thing too, right? Like I remember being a little kid. I was like probably 9 years old, and I was at a boxing gym, and this old man that was a friend of or he was a neighbor from where my grandma lived. He was there. He was a boxer, right? Old school guy. We were talking. He was like, "Oh, y'all like boxing, blah blah." And I'll never forget. He goes, "Who's y'all's favorite fighter?" And my cousin was like, "Muhammad Ali." Yo, this is a racist old Mexican dude. And he went off on Muhammad. He's like, "You mean Cassius Clay?" And he was like a vet, right? So he's like, "I'm a
oh
vet."
yeah, no,
Blah,
no,
blah,
no,
blah.
bro.
He went
Me and
off, bro.
Matt's
And I
grandpa.
remember that like inserted into my head, bro. You know what I mean? And I started
Mhm.
thinking, oh, Ali's bad. Calling him Ali is bad. Cassius Clay is his name. I was a little kid, you know what I mean? It took
No,
the movie, it took the documentary, it took We Are Kings, that documentary too. All of those things to like, and
no, no.
obviously at
Listen,
some point
listen.
in history,
Um,
to really understand that time period.
and because bro, Mexicans don't like that stuff. Like me and Matt's grandpa, Vietnam vet, not drafted, volunteered. He hated Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is a
Yep.
draft dodger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he called him a dancer and a runner. So it's
Yeah. That's crazy
it's
that that
like
was
us,
like
right?
what they
Because
called him
like
back. That's like Shakur and shit, fucking Mayweather. Like, damn, that's like an old narrative now that I hear that.
oh yeah, see, because it's like even us, right? Like we appreciate Floyd, but there's gonna be people that be like he was a fucking runner, man. All he did was, bro. People think Canelo don't stand in trade. He's
Which
still
is
active.
crazy.
Kind of like I hear people tell me that Triple G wasn't really a 50-50 fight. Uh, I mean, obviously, you know the kind of callers we can get at the boxing voice sometimes.
Yeah,
But
bro.
like guys will sit there and be like, that fight wasn't 50-50. Canelo took it because he knew he could win. And I'm like, bro, who the fuck said that at that time?
Yeah, that's to me is people that have been propagandized by certain people, right? Because it's like, Mex, you have to remember, like, you realize that you're part of like the top, like maybe 12% of boxing fans that have been watching for like more than like 5 years, right? And you've been watching for what, like 20. So it's like
Nearly
a
30, yeah.
situation where you have to understand it's like there you can't. Here's the thing. I feel like you can't hold against those fans their uneducated talking
Yeah.
points because they've been propagandized, right, by the LBD or
No,
by the what's it called, the
the Lions
Lions,
Den.
yeah,
Yeah.
bullshit, LBC, yeah, like all that shit, right? Like, remember that was huge, bro. That was popping off when we were with TBV, bro. That was like
Yeah.
when it was
Oh
starting to
yeah.
become a thing, huge, and they started dominating YouTube, and then they were like passing each other the shows off
Yeah.
to each other so they could
Then
all
the
maintain
Chargers
those
start getting their
numbers.
ass whipped.
Hell yeah, bro. And look what happened. And all I'm trying to say is it was a narrative, right? And so people fell for this narrative, this anti-Canelo, anti-Pacquiao, even anti-Mayweather. There's all that shit goes
So
out.
see, look, and but it's pertinent to our conversation, right? There's an anti-Hogan section of wrestling out there, right? Hulk Hogan bad. Hulk Hogan bad. Um, it's very interesting, right? Because it's kind of Mario. What I was saying is it circles back to our current conversation. Was like not that it's none of it's true, right? Because there's a little truth in all propaganda, right? But been this machine of like fuck Hulk Hogan for the last 15 years, and your Ryan came on, right,
For
and he
sure.
was like, don't, and I want to say this too. You're right. That TikTok about the Booker T thing was hilarious. I laughed, but I also have a dark sense of humor.
No. I think it was funny. I do. I just
I
didn't.
get what
I
you're
really
saying though.
if she would have
It's
waited till tomorrow morning,
yeah.
I wouldn't have even thought that.
See, and
My only
the
question was like,
thing
is
with
it
that
too
is
soon?
for guys from well, I mean, how old is
Oh, you
Ryan?
said it. From guys from our generation, there is no too soon, right? We're from the postmodern generation, right?
Hmm.
Seinfeld, South Park, Family Guy. These
Chappelle
are all
Show.
Chappelle Show. These are all postmodern style shows, and which is to say that these are shows that poke fun of American life. Nothing is sacred. Everything is sarcastic.
Hmm.
Nobody means anything, right?
Yeah,
And that
nobody's
has
safe.
taken over everything, right? Even The Office was a little bit like that too at times. And so you have
Yeah.
all these different types of things that do that. So no, that's a very
See,
good point, bro.
and people
Honestly, very, very good point. I think that's a
Mario,
fair
right?
point.
Because I think you spend a lot of time with your grandparents. You bring them up a lot.
Yeah, my
So
grandma
we also have a
raised us.
heavy influence from that generation where it's like let's be real, old school Mexicans, like when somebody dies, you're not supposed to talk bad about him anymore. Oh,
Hell yeah. No, that's
pobres.
a great point. That's a
And
great point.
I'm very much anti that, bro. If you thought like this is how I feel. When I
Italians
die,
too are like
bro,
that.
if you think I was a piece of shit in life, think I was a piece of shit when I die, bro. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but we come from this, we come from that where it's like, oh, you can't
But
say that they're dead. Like, well, fuck them. You
exactly,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Because the thing is, like, maybe I think Supermax is a piece of shit, but I don't know his mom is. So why am I saying this stuff that's gonna hurt
mhm.
his mom, who I don't
and,
know? You know what I mean?
and
Like,
that's where it's like we just live in a desensitized society.
desensitized. Best way to say that. I love that word, and you're absolutely right. We're at a point where nothing really shocks us anymore. And I feel like
Yeah.
I got real listen, bro. I'm telling you right now, everybody says this, right? Everybody says, "Oh, if me and my friends, if there was a mic on us, we'd be canceled." My friends I've been friends with since baseball when we were in Pony League at fucking 5th grade, right? The friends I have are actually cousins, literal cousins that I've known since I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a baby, right? There's nothing we can't say because I know these guys. They're good people. They're not racist. They're not homophobic. They're not sexist. Do they make jokes that fall in that line? Sure. So if you don't know them and you hear that joke, you'll take it the wrong way. But we don't make them jokes in front of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a situation where if you're comfortable enough with a group of like guys, like nothing becomes off limit and you
Well,
become desensitized to it. And it's hard to shape back into a world that isn't just fucking dudes, pretending
yeah.
life is one
And
giant fraternity
and
party.
context is everything, right? Context is
Absolutely.
everything. So
Absolutely.
here recently, and I know he caught flack for it, but I thought somebody that addressed something similar to this the best was Mexican OT on that podcast. You
Which
know,
one?
where they brought up about him saying the N word and
Oh,
because
yeah.
because I agree because we're from Texas, bro. Like, and I'm sorry,
That's a
people
tough
can
one for
bullshit.
me.
Mario, but let's be honest here. We're both from Texas. bro. 20 years ago, everybody said that word, and it didn't really. And I'm not
Yep.
saying I'm not one of these people that's like, well, I had black friends, so that justifies it. But it's like that is true. Like I grew up with everybody. The word
See though. Oh
it
my bad. Go ahead.
it's and let me be honest, right? So we were both in TVV. There's some guys that didn't mind us, in conversation, because let's be honest, it takes a while to take things out of your vocabulary. There's some guys that don't care, but there's some guys that it bothers them, and that's what it's about. It's us having to learn. Okay, like let's say I'm having a conversation with some close friends of mine, and the word flies out, right?
Yeah.
But what I learned was, if I can't say, like, let's say Mike from TBV or J Hardcore, right? Good
Right.
friends of both of ours, solid guys, or even R&V, right? If those guys tell me, hey man, it bothers me when you say that word, as a friend, I'm taking that to heart and saying, hey, if my other friend wouldn't want me to say it, I'm not just gonna say it just because he's not here. Now I'm gonna feel free to say it.
Sure.
And I think that's a perspective that people should take, that if somebody you care about as a friend, even on a friend level, if you just feel like you can't say it in front of certain people, then you should just take it out of your vocabulary altogether, or leave it in there, but just understand there's consequences to whichever route you take. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. I think that was eloquently put, and I also think that there is a framework there that I could get behind. However, I will say this, right? I agree with you, right? Growing up in Texas, where we're from, the screwed and chopped era, right? I literally had gray tapes. You know, my cousins were old enough
mhm.
to go to the flea market to buy them, and then I inherited them. And so that's how deep it runs for me, right? So I know what you're saying. Now, I will say this: in Corpus, where I went to school, it was a little kind of a double standard. There was the dudes that used the N-word that were Hispanic, right? But those are the dudes who dress more black, more urban, right? But then you
Mhm.
had the more Hispanic dudes. If I was with them, it would be, hey, what's up, dog? Not dog, doll, right? That's how it sounded, right? Hey, what's up, dog? Hey, what's up, dog? That's how it was, right? And now,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of shit like, hey, my boy, like all kind of shit, right? But back then, you could separate literally what hood somebody's from or
Well,
who they kick it
and,
with
and,
by
and
if they're calling you the N-word or if they're like, hey, what's up, dog? And so at the end of the day, there was a decisiveness between it, which I'm not saying there
no,
should be, but that's just
a
how life
hundred
works.
percent.
Real quick though, the last point I want to make, see, this is where I fall on it. I'm so glad you brought this up, right? Because this is part of the whole Hogan stuff. The way I feel is words have power. And I'm obviously going to believe that as a writer, as a journalist for 10 years, as somebody who's had books published, magazines, I believe with all of
Yeah.
my heart to the
Death
point where
threats.
I'm feeling its effect. Yes, death threats, everything. So I know words have power. To me, and I'm not going to play like, oh, I'm on this high mighty thing where I never was around people that used it or never said it. Right? No, fuck that. But today, I understand words have a power. I
Hmm.
honestly think it's a problem. I really do. I think that
No,
it's
and I
subconsciously inserted itself into the black culture through hip hop, through a lot of other mediums, to the point where now everybody says it is. So you're not an American first. You're not even a human first. You're not even a man or a woman first. You're N-word first to another, black dude, right?
yeah.
And so it's in a situation where you constantly hear that as a kid, right? You're 3 years old hearing the N-word, 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 N-word. So you know nothing else than you are what you inherit
No,
or whatever, however that saying goes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if
and
I'm contributing to that, then I'm contributing to something that doesn't affect me in a negative way as much as it affects that culture, right? So I think it's up to that culture to decide whether they use it or not. But I do have the opinion that it is not, like, it's not something good. I
no,
don't think
and,
drill rap was good. I don't think Vaughn and Duck and everything that happened in the Chicago scene was good for black people, was
no,
good for
not
hip
at
hop,
all.
was good for rap. Not at all. And so I'm not going to contribute. That's why I don't like that dude from Fresh and Fit, the Arabic
Myron.
guy, the Muslim guy, Myron. I don't fuck with that guy because it's like, on one hand, you're saying that you believe black Americans have some sort of like mental health crisis, right? But on the other hand, you use the words and you use all the lingo that you say is disrupting that community. So either
Yeah, and you
you
justify it because you're
perceiving it
from
from
Sudan.
exactly. And so if you perceive it differently from the outside looking in, that's one thing. But if you are actively making your voice heard in a negative way, then you are part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Yeah,
because you're not a rapper, you're part of that message. You're
yeah,
part of that
hundred
bullshit.
percent.
So when I
And let
say,
me.
okay, Hogan's the guy that's going to use it, okay, but at the end of the day, listen, I thought Hogan never took drugs, always took it, always said his prayers,
Hmm.
always said that I was propagandized. In the same way that maybe Hogan as a kid was propagandized into thinking it's just a word. Races, and there's more to people than a color. We should all be colorblind, right? That bullshit hurt a lot of white people, you know what I mean? And their thoughts on race.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Is we got to remember, like, as generations go on, like, I'm not trying to justify it anyway, but like that's why I say I like to look at people's perspective. Like, people were raised by people that believed it was okay, and that's hard to accept that the people who raised you are who you love the most, right?
Sure.
So hearing that those people are wrong is a
It's
hard pill to
hard.
swallow,
It's hard, bro.
right?
Fucking
No
hard.
justification for it, but it's one of those things. Like I said, and to piggyback off your point, right, about the so like growing up, right, like I was a South Pole Fat Farm, fitted cap type of guy, right?
Hell yeah, bro. Platinum Fubu.
So me saying it with my buddies that I grew up with, played ball with, like we talked about, we were both ball players. Now this other dude who's got his Dickies and his Converse and his Lokes on saying it, you're right, it hits different, and that's part of the context too. So like I said, I agree, and like I said to close out on my point, this is like I said, TBV I believe taught me with my because I made genuine friends with guys like Mike and R&B and Javi and Jay. So if they don't feel comfortable um with people outside of their race using that, who am I to tell them, well, too fucking bad? You know what I mean? If I'm
Bro,
their friend.
I would have people reach out to me weekly to ask
Hmm.
me to ask Ness to stop using it. I swear to God, I would bring it
Yeah.
up to him at times, and he was never like he didn't have a problem to stop using it in terms of like the decision, right? It was just like a thing where it would slip out, like because it was so a part of his
He still
vocabulary.
has
You know
that
what I
to
mean?
this day.
Yeah,
He doesn't do it
absolutely.
very often. That's what
It'll
I
slip.
mean too. Is like, man, look, you use it for so long that it takes retraining. So again,
Absolutely. So, but that's what I'm saying too. But if it's also a word that as soon as you say it, you think of the consequences of it and have to convince yourself that there shouldn't be, like that tells you everything you need to know. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like whether the
yeah.
comfort level is there. Like, why would you want to use a word?
Like I've
You know
like
what I'm
I've
saying?
got a
Especially when
I've got
there's
a
so many different things like, hey, my guy, hey, what's up, dog? Hey, what's up, homie? Like, hey, what's up,
like I've got
Holmes?
a
Hey, what's up,
and I've got a
Tyler?
gay
Like, you
friend,
know what
right? And
I mean?
and he's a really good friend of mine, right? Um, Super respectful. I mean, a great dude, right? That's his lifestyle choice. When we were younger, we would throw around, a gay joke or saying things were gay or the F word, he sat me down and was like, "Hey, man, that and I'm not gonna say that I immediately stopped using it, but when and I think that's the way we course correct instead of just being angry and retaliating. When someone sits down and just speaks to you and says, "Hey, man, that bothers me when you say things like that." I think that's in society, that's the best way we correct that action because if you send somebody angered, 90% of the time they're gonna match back with anger.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so from my personal experiences, like I said, with the TBV guys, well, they're not TBV guys no more, but with my friends that I met there, with my buddy who has that lifestyle choice, for me personally, if someone takes the time to say, "Hey, man, I just want you to know that stuff bothers me," I take that to heart, and I think maybe if society itself did a little more of that, we might be able to get to a better instead of just "Hey, fuck you, you can't say that,"
Yeah.
or "Hey, screw," you know what I mean?
I think it's about changing mentalities too, because I
Hmm.
remember hearing somebody say this. They said like, this if it's a problem for you to not say that word or like whatever word we're talking about, right? I'm not even saying that word, just any word, whatever word it is. Then it's the problem isn't the word. The problem is the lack of vocabulary. And it would
Hmm.
be that listen, if I were to use the N-word, it would make me a huge racist. Huge. You know why? Because I have an extensive vocabulary. So if I am
Same.
actively
Um,
choosing that word, then I'm doing it because trying to
it's
entice. I'm
and
trying
that's the
to,
thing,
you know what I
right?
mean?
Me and you know each other well enough, and we've had. I mean, how many times have me and you had text conversations in group chats where we use certain words that like nobody but me and you are gonna know.
Oh,
or
bro.
use
I
in
mean, if they got a
regular.
hold of our chat records from TV or even in our Texas chat, bro, we'd all be fucking smoked. You know that.
No, but what I mean is like I'm talking about our vocabulary, our
Oh,
vernacular,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. My bad,
'Cause
my bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I'm talking about like me and you specifically, right? We use words that aren't or that are regular in our vocabulary that not a lot of people use, right? Like
Hey, what's up, Andrew?
it's what people would refer to as a big word, right? Like one that stands out to me is I remember we were talking about something and I was like, I vehemently disagree. And people the guys in the chat were like, what the hell? And you were like so like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you used that word, like, vehemently. To me and you, that's not a big major word, but that's not a common word for, you know.
A specific community, sure.
So
Or like, and I don't
so
mean, I
for
meant like internet community.
yeah. So
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
you,
absolutely.
so to back your point up, when you have a good vocabulary like me and you have, yeah, when you say a word like that, there's more emphasis on it because we know how to speak well and how to put your words together better. So if you're gonna say that, it stands out more. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
understand your vocabulary.
Yeah, and I'll go as far as to say this to make my point, right? It's like just because you use the N word or caught using the N word, it doesn't make you the ultimate racist, right? Like, first of all, we're all a little racist. That's not an excuse. That's just a truth, right? Our brains are wired still in a certain way. Like, we're animals in a lot of ways. But
Yeah,
that
and
said, if it doesn't make you a racist, but at the same time, it doesn't make anyone comfortable. Like,
no,
why would I ever want to hang out with somebody who's just dropping the N bomb, especially if, like, I'm in a situation where like my grandparents are over, my mom's in the room, or like my wife, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not fun. Like, you're not making anything
yeah.
fun for us. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to take a stance, that's
Well,
cool, but you're taking a stance on being a dick. Like, you're taking a stance on being
yeah.
somebody annoying that nobody wants to hang out with.
And it's like it's as simple as like, I mean, Mario, you've known me for like what, like 8 years at this point.
Yeah, at least.
Um, and maybe you don't notice directly, but like if you've talked to me enough, like especially 3, 4 years ago, like I would cuss every other word. You know what I mean? Um, I think maturity is a part of that too, because it's not as extreme. And I'm not gonna compare saying bad words to saying that word, but like nobody wants to be around somebody that's just constantly cussing, bro. Like you know every 3 words out of their mouth is F, S, or D. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, absolutely. And,
and and
if a bunch of people jumped on real quick, I want to take this real quick point to remind everybody the overall theme. Okay. At the end of the day, we can have the honest conversations, right? But what we have to do is remember that, like, shitting on Hogan at this point doesn't do anything to anybody, isn't hurting anybody but like people that are like victimless in it all, right? Like, because if Hogan is an a-hole or whatever y'all want to accuse him of, fine. Okay. But anyone still living on earth today is only a victim of his shit, right? Like, if he was a bad father, and I'm not saying that, although there is, evidence to support it. If he was a bad father, that's on him. Like, the person that's the biggest victim is his daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
well
digging in on him and shit. It's only hurting people who, you know what I'm saying, like,
and
really did love him and care about him. Maybe not as a genuine person, but the memories he gave them, the
well
nostalgia
not
that he reminds them of.
so here's the best way to put it, Mario, is it's okay to mourn Hulk Hogan and understand that Terry Bollea might not have been the best
Was
person.
complicated. Absolutely. Well said, Supermax. I think you encapsulated everything I took fucking 30 seconds to say. Yes, absolutely. We can know, it's like, this whole thing, like,
He's
everybody blows
at
up
the end
like,
of the
oh,
day.
you still listen to R. Kelly, you still listen to P. Diddy, you still listen to Mike. Like, I know the artist. That's it. I never met P. Diddy. I don't know R. Kelly. I don't even know if Michael Jackson was a real person. All I know is their music is incredible, and the artistry that flowed through them doesn't really belong to them anymore. It belongs to the zeitgeist. It belongs to all of us, right? So if I
Well,
listen to I Believe I Can Fly before I go to the gym and I lift 315 pounds, how is that
well,
hurting
and,
me and helping R. Kelly? You
and
know what I'm
and
saying?
it's like
Like,
we talked about, Mario. Like if you're listening to "I Believe I Can Fly," what that song comes up, what are you thinking
Space
of? What
Jam
goes
with
into
my
your mind?
grandma at Space Jam at the Dollar Movies. My grandma taking me and my 7 cousins
Hmm.
and her somehow being a Mexican mom enough to rile us all in.
Yeah, see, you're not. That song comes on. If Ignition comes on, you might think of a house party back in high school. You're not thinking of shit like, foul shit. You know what I mean, like that,
Yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Look,
Exactly.
if I Need a Girl comes on, I'm not thinking of
It
Diddy
reminds me
doing
of my
wild
first
shit.
girlfriend.
If Me and You comes on by Cassie, I'm not thinking of her, doing wild shit. Like music, music and memories. Like that's why we love wrestling, right? Because wrestling, like WrestleMania 17, yeah, it's an event, right? But you can think back to that time in your life,
Hell yeah.
you know. And like you mentioned earlier, bro, you think back like you brought up the fights, right? Like when I think back, right, like anytime my favorite memory, I was watching De La Hoya versus Vargas, right? I think back, we're at my grandma's backyard. There's a big cookout. I remember me and my dad are the only ones going for De La Hoya. Everybody's on Vargas's nuts. And like I remember that moment with me and my dad when De La Hoya beats him, and that's a moment me and my dad were like, yes, and I in a weird way it helped me believe in my dad because my dad showed me just that was like a life lesson, bro. Like just because you're a tough talker doesn't mean anything, right?
Mm,
And that like
bro,
that little
I
special
love
moment
that
with my
story,
dad
bro.
like means so much to me. Like bro, it's no secret my dad is locked up, right? He's probably not ever coming home. But I had that moment of like me and him against everybody at the cookout, right? Everybody's fucking with us all night.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
he's gonna get whooped, and me and my dad get the last laugh, right? Like me and
That's
my
a
dad
beautiful
get that.
story, bro. That's a beautiful
Like
boxing story. And I could
I don't.
relate so
So
much to that.
yeah, so I don't think about Oscar and fucking pantyhose. I think of Oscar giving me being my mom's favorite fighter and my mom introducing us to boxing. I think
Yeah,
of,
nah, you're
of
so
Oscar,
right, bro. So right.
delivering me and my dad that moment. So that's what I think people got to remember here. Like, even if you hate things that Hogan did on his personal life, bro, there's a Hogan memory that like I said, WrestleMania 18. People our age, you can't tell me you don't remember that moment and think that was fucking amazing. Hulk Hogan and The Rock.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nah, you're 100% right, bro. You're 100% right. I what your story just like made me think so much of my own past. Like I remember that moment specifically with De La Hoya. I mean, there was a few more people on, the De La Hoya side on that night, but
Hmm.
the majority was for Vargas, and it made me feel like an adult, like one of the guys. I'm a kid,
Yeah,
literally like knee
exactly,
high, but
exactly.
I'm going for the same guy that we're going, and we're all talking shit to those guys, and I'm part of this group as a 10-year-old of the men that I admire most in that, in my life, and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I felt so included. Like I felt, you're right. It's a big moment for a kid, for somebody growing. You know what I mean? Like father son bonding moment, or just like a bonding moment between any like male
Hmm.
guardian or whatever. Those things are important, and I feel like you nailed it, bro. You nailed why it is a little insensitive to go this route about keeping it real on Hogan within the first 24 hours. Like, and here's the other part: you're kind of full of shit because the Netflix documentary came out, right? Like the other thing on Hogan on YouTube where they posted all his videos and shit, like that went super viral. Like, if anything, the story on Hogan being terrible has been a
Hmm.
constant narrative for the last year and a
Hmm.
half. So you're
Oh
not
yeah, no,
reminding anybody, like you're just, trying to be one of the first people to come out and, get
you
those
just want to
likes.
be on top. Exactly, bro.
Exactly.
You want to be part of the crowd. You know what I mean? It's cool to shit on Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Hell
And
yeah.
like I said, I'm not here to endorse Hulk Hogan or tell anybody, man, you gotta
No.
like him. What I'm saying is like him or not, if you're on this show, let's be honest, Mark, you love boxing, wrestling, and MMA.
Hell
Like
yeah.
you love that shit, right? Uh, because let's be real, there's only a certain type of us that just scrounge around and find these type of shows to watch, right? And
For
interact
sure.
and conversate because we all love this shit. So I mean, like, you know. I wouldn't be shocked if even AEW throws up a graphic. I know he didn't have the greatest relationship. I know Tony Khan said things, but bro, you're telling me Tony Khan, a young Tony Khan, wasn't a little Hulkamaniac?
Absolutely, 100%. They
You know what
have
I
to,
mean?
bro. They have to. You
And
know,
so,
even if it's
the thing with Hogan, Mario, my bad, let me just finish this. The thing with
no, go
Hogan,
ahead.
I think, and I think you're the perfect example of it, is see, when you believe in someone so hard, when all that becomes, when it turns out that it's not real, that's heartbreaking because, like we mentioned earlier, there's the inner child mourning. So it's not you he hurt, right, Mario? It's not the grown Mario who is a writer and does all these amazing things, right?
Hell yeah,
It's the little Mario that was a Hulkamaniac that lived his life based on the things Hulk Hogan said.
hell yeah, champ.
His
Hell
heart is
yeah,
broken. He was
hell yeah,
betrayed.
bro.
You know
You're
what I
so
mean?
right.
And that's
You're
where a
so
lot of
right.
this anger with Hulk Hogan comes out, right? It's like, man, I based my whole life around the things you said, right? Be good, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. I did all these things because Hulk Hogan said, like the Miz said it, right? On his post. I said my prayers and ate my vitamins because Hulk Hogan told me to. And then you find out Hulk Hogan wasn't really that guy.
Yeah,
And that's where a lot
yo.
of this anger stems from a lot of the fans. I think
Yeah,
that's why
I
I'm not
agree. I
as
think you're
into
right. I think
in.
you're right, dude. It's a pride thing a lot of times for me. I know that, right? Because like I'm not mad that Hulk Hogan didn't live up to this impossible standard. I know I'm not mad at that. I'm mad that I got fooled, and that's my ego. That's my pride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like I could
And
be
it's your
mad
childhood,
at
bro.
yeah, exactly, right? It's kind of like the same thing with like the Cowboys. You know, like I'm a kid. The 95 Cowboys are a super team, and I believe in Jerry Jones. But I became an adult and realized, oh, Jerry Jones is a giant piece of shit who also has done nothing but ruin the Cowboys. So, you
Yeah,
know,
you watch your mouth about my guy Jerry.
it looks
No, but
really good. Really
like
good.
you,
I
you know,
digress.
and that's what I mean, man, right? Like it's just one of those things where it's like it's betrayal at the end of the day. Like, that Cowboys documentary, I think we're gonna find out some
Oh man, I
shit
can't wait. I
that's,
can't wait.
and we gotta do a review of that, me and you.
Hell yeah.
Um, that's gonna be it's just one of those things, right? Is there so and it's funny, right? Because 20 years down the line, right, we're gonna find some shit out about some of these current guys, or maybe even more of the Attitude Era guys. It's gonna come out,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's just kind of the advent of where society is, right? Everybody's got a podcast. And so that's what I think it is. It's like there wouldn't be this much backlash from people if Hulk Hogan. And that's the funny thing about this, right? Because he is who he is, and so many people believed in him and loved him. That's why this backlash on him has been this way. Um, it's just the pendulum swinging in the other direction now.
Yeah,
Because
I agree. I agree fully. I think that it's one of those situations where you
so,
know,
like for
and
me,
like
Mario, right? Like I said,
uh
real quick. So, like I
no,
remember
go
you
ahead.
told me you were the biggest Hulkamaniac when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, I was one.
And
I
and
was definitely a Hulkster when I was a
right.
young kid.
And so like I never was, right? So that's why like I think I don't look at him so harshly. I think me and you are a prime example of like you at one point in your life were a little Hulkster. I never was. So his flaws to me, I don't like I said, I'm not excusing him, but they don't they don't bother me as much because in my mind it's like, well, he's just a typical top guy, typical rich guy. Most rich guys are shitty people, right? Like most people that get that rich or to get that point, they've done some foul shit to get there.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
so I didn't have this emotional attachment to Hulk Hogan like a lot of people do, like you did.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I think that's a big part of this, you know.
No, I agree. I agree. You know, it's like I remember waking up one day. I mean, not like literally, but like being a wrestling fan. You know, and thinking to myself, wait a minute. I don't. Hulk Hogan and Warrior was the worst thing ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's exactly how it was.
Hmm.
Yo, hold up. Who's this? Hello. Somebody's on mute. All right. Well, you can stay on mute as long as you want and tap in whenever you want. But yeah, man. Listen, we're gonna wrap up too. But Mex, man, for real, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you uh coming on. And yeah, if you want to give your socials before you go.
Yeah, real quick though, let's end on a positive though, because I just I don't know if you touched it, but let's just all agree here. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, and Goldberg's a whiny bitch. Um,
Hell yeah.
like that shit. Like I don't know what more you want out of a retirement match. I didn't know. I haven't heard your opinion on it yet, Mario. I've been dying to hear it, but I mean, Jesus Christ, like I don't know. I don't know that he whines too much, bro. Like goddamn, what more do you want, bro? So when he shows up over in AEW, man, have at it, guys. But no, seriously, hey guys, like I said, I hope people that listen to this can see, like, you know, me and Mario, I feel like are on different ends of the spectrum a lot of times, but that's what discourse is for. Anytime me and Mario get on the show, we agree about a lot, but we disagree about a lot. And I think my thing is, I want people to understand, like, it's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to have a different opinion. Um, but discourse is healthy. Me and Mario are really good friends because we can have discourse and we can disagree, and it doesn't change our friendship. So you know, take that in mind. Like Mario said, have respect to the people that cared about Hulk Hogan that are still here. Because even if he was a shitty dad, um, there's a little girl inside of Brooke Hogan that loves her dad, right? There's a little boy inside of Nick Hogan that loves his dad. You know, think about that, right? We've got people in our life that weren't the greatest people, but we may still love them. So give it 12 more hours. Jesus Christ. Um, but continue to engage in discourse, continue to be open to dialect and conversation, and be continue to learn. Let other people's perspective open up your thought process, which is something I think we do here, and I'm always appreciative when Mario sends me a link to come on anytime I can, I will. Um, Other than that, man, 6 weeks till football.
Hell
Astros
yeah.
are first in the AL. Life is
Hell
good.
yeah. Hey bro, the Hooks got McCullers. Who
Yeah,
was
the
it? It
Hooks are
was
heading up to Amarillo in like 2 weeks, and if he's still there, I'm gonna try to go. I got an uncle that's got some tickets,
oh hell yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna try to
they
go.
got they got Luis Garcia on Saturday and then JP France on Sunday. So
Yeah,
it's a full
so
weekend of Hooks pitching. So it's
yeah,
cool.
like I said,
But
life
yeah,
is
man.
good.
Oh yeah.
And tune in. I'm not fighting, but tune into Border Wars, man. I got a lot of friends fighting on the card. I love to see people who are just fans. I mean, me and
Oh
Mario
yeah.
both been Border Wars fighters. We've been on the victory and the defeat side of things, man. So go support those guys if you can over on the Boxing Voice, man, because it's
Oh yeah.
Mario will tell you it's not easy getting in there, man. But Mario, great conversation as always, brother.
Appreciate it, Supermax, for real. I'll hit you up later this week.
Sounds good, my man.
Appreciate you tap in. Yeah, so listen, I think that it was a situation today where it was difficult, I think, to really like capture, what it was that I was trying to accomplish with this conversation. Um because things aren't cut and dry, like nothing is cut and dry. Ultimately, it's a complicated thing. But yeah, I will say about the Goldberg thing real quick. You've never cut a good promo in your life, and them cutting your mic off didn't hurt at all. In fact, it might have helped because you probably would have stunk up the joint even worse. However, I will agree with Goldberg's point on only having like 2 or 3 promos in the last year, like knowing sort of how long this was going to be the match. Barely built it, based on a really shallow, flimsy storyline. So I get why he was mad at that stuff. But ultimately, I don't think that he's got, you know, anyway, he's good riddance is what I'll say to Goldberg. I mean, but yeah, that's going to do it for us in Fighting FX on YouTube, IG, TikTok, Twitch. Did I say YouTube? Yeah. And Facebook and X. So yeah, please hit the like, please hit the please hit the subscribe, and more than anything, please share. The share thing is like really, really what I need, more than anything. And it would take you like maybe 15 seconds. If that, to share it. But yeah, any share, any sub helps, specifically on the YouTube and the TikTok. Um, and yeah, I have some new content too on TikTok. that I don't know if everybody liked it, but some people thought it was funny, and I appreciate the people that thought it was funny. So, it is what it is. I'm starting, like, I'm trying new content. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna be great right away. But anyway, we will be live. Oh wait, tomorrow's Friday. No, I'm gonna go see Fantastic Four. Cannot wait. And then Sunday or Saturday, we're gonna watch Happy Gilmore 2 also. I kind of want to do it like on a live stream, but we're all gonna be watching it. So I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work out. But anyway, the Pat McAfee heat stuff. Yeah, we talked about it on Monday. If you didn't catch the show yesterday, you can go back in my archive on YouTube or TikTok or not TikTok, X, to run it back from yesterday. But yeah, we did talk about it. I don't think he's got as much heat as people think or as they'll say. Like, I think the company knows the value of a Pat McAfee, and I think they know that having him in the dog days of summer isn't when they really need him. Now, granted, it is one thing when you know that he's not going to be around because of football season, and it's like he doesn't get burnt out over football. But at the same time, this is a guy who has a huge, busy schedule. I can imagine getting burnt out. Absolutely, and so I don't think the company's really mad at him or punishing. People are saying the Cena thing was like a rib on him or like heat on him, but I don't think it was. The feeling tired and worn down or whatever the line was. But anyway, Infighting FX everywhere. Thank you to Ryan, the one lion. Thanks to Supermax. Who pops on at the last minute? Who is
Okay.
this? I know this voice.
Okay.
This is the Crusher, isn't it?
What?
This is the Crusher, isn't it?
Okay. Yes.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Hulk Hogan died.
Oh my, no, really?
What do you think?
Are you sad?
Sad is not the word I would use at all.
I
Sad
wouldn't use it.
I don't think that anybody could die that's like a celebrity that I've met that I'd be sad, except for Bret Hart probably.
If
Also
Nikki
Zero.
Bella died, I'd be sad.
That's sad in itself that you would be sad about
Okay.
that, because nobody should be sad. I mean, her family, of course, but
I am her family.
Jesus, you might be her stalker now that I think about it. That's like me being like, if Doink the Clown died, I'd be so heartbroken. Like,
Nobody's
I
being
imagine.
heartbroken over that. Doink doink.
All right.
Doink,
Well,
doink.
can you walk to another room so that we can keep this one clear? But anyway, so are you sad or what?
No.
Jeez Louise.
Well,
No,
I mean, it's not bad. Like, I'm not sad, but
no,
I'm
no, no,
also
it's
not
not
like
bad.
happy.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah, that's the difference, is the sickos that seem like to be celebrating it are weirdos, right? But I think that it's fair to have like an honest conversation about, what kind of human being he might have been or is or was or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to his daughter in 8 years, I think it was, right? And while I'm trying not to judge that, to me, that's like one of the
Crazy.
biggest indicators of a man. Like, what's your relationship with your kids, right? Like 50 Cent and his son hate him. Now, I don't know if it's because of his mom or whatever, but it's like situations like that, right?
Yeah.
But he also tried to get his son off of DWIs like multiple times. So
That's.
they
I
said that.
cannot believe it. It just doesn't feel real. Did you see Vince put out a tweet or an
No, what did he
X or
say?
whatever, and he said that we lost the greatest superstar of all time or something like that. He called him the greatest wrestler of all
Damn, he
time.
goaded him over
Yeah.
Taker.
Yeah. No, look it up right now. Look it up on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Literally look up what he said.
a lot of people have been saying good things about it though. Did you see that Chuck E. Cheese got arrested, the mouse?
What?
Yeah, look, you search that.
Well, I kind of can't.
Oh, okay. Well, here, I'll show you real quick then. Let Let me
Wait,
see.
the
Oh, the
actual
world
mouse
boss.
got arrested.
Yeah, the actual mouse got arrested. This is a really bad day for my childhood.
Jeez.
Oh wait, I think I closed it.
And then Ozzy Osbourne born.
I know, dude.
Can't
This
believe
is a
it. Why are people
and
dying and
and
like
Hux and
getting
the
arrested?
Huxtable kid.
That's crazy.
Wait, Vince put uh the world lost a treasure today. Hulk Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time, in all caps. Someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer and the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. I guess, yeah, he was a pretty,
Would you
I mean,
say
like,
he's the GOAT with the greatest superstar of
no,
all
not at all.
time?
Not at all. I think he's one of the most important or most
That's like me
impactful
saying
wrestlers
James
of all time.
Ellsworth is the
Yeah.
greatest.
See, but I think there's two different conversations, right? I think there's the conversation on, hey, is this guy you know, the best worker, right? Like, does he put on good matches
Yeah.
versus is he one of the biggest names in the history of the sport, right? That's why you have to
Yeah.
have like two different Mount Rushmores. Um, but he was important. I'm not going to pretend like he's not. You said it earlier. You said it's like when if like when Vince goes, like what people are going to say, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you have to acknowledge if you're like a wrestling fan or if you've enjoyed any of it, right? Then you have to be conscious of what Hulk Hogan and Vince did. I don't think
Yeah.
that we'd be watching like today. Like we went to the live event. I
WWE
don't think
wouldn't
we'd
be
be
here if it wasn't for
exactly,
Vince.
exactly. And here's the other thing. Like I was telling people like who's somebody that you've seen live that you really aren't a fan of or like we're bored about.
Sheamus.
Okay, Sheamus, perfect. Okay, so like Sheamus could pass away, right? And even if you're not a fan,
You still have to acknowledge the work that he did for the company and like
sure,
how
absolutely,
he
but
pushed WWE.
definitely. But for you personally, let's say that you're 35 years old and
Yeah.
Sheamus passes away, and I've been dead for like 5 years, right? It could spark a memory, right? The nostalgia. So Sheamus represents, oh, the time that I saw him with my Uncle Mao when he was alive and my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like things like
Yeah.
that, like a situation where they spark like really like great times in your
Memories.
life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I love De La Hoya for all the memories he gave me with Papa and Grandpa and Grandma and Mimi and everybody else. You know what I mean? Ryan, my brother, everybody. But that said, there are a lot of things about him that aren't really like something to be a fan of. You know what I mean? And he's had a lot
Yeah.
of issues outside of the ring. Not that judging somebody for addiction is smart or like right, but at the same time, like he's hurt a lot of other people with his decisions is the point I'll
Yeah.
make. Who's your Hulk Hogan, like from your generation? Who would be the most shocking that would it be John Cena, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, I would say I don't know. Because I was
Really,
thinking
Bryan
Daniel Bryan,
Danielson?
if Daniel Bryan
Uh-huh.
was still in WWE.
Got it, but it'd
Because
still be like a situation though, like
Hogan
where
was like super push like over like back then, not now, but before
yeah,
like
that's
he was
true.
hated before that racism or whatever came out, he was like super loved. Hulkamania, remember? And
Yeah.
I would be like that. That's like a Daniel Bryan, you know?
See, and it's funny because if you think about it, like, yeah, Hulk Hogan was the big star out of those two,
Yeah,
but Bryan Danielson was the one that actually lived his credo. Like he actually was a vegan. He actually did do things to try to save the earth. He did
yeah,
push a positive message and he was authentic about it. Like he was never fake about who he was. His character, when it reflected his personal life, was always genuine. You know what I mean? And for Hogan to be
yeah,
like, "Oh, take your vitamins," while Vince has a needle in his ass, is not authentic. It's not.
yeah,
I don't appreciate it as a consumer of the product. You convincing me as a kid that prayers and vitamins will get me as jacked as you. Now, obviously, that's like, I'm not nitpicking or whatever. It's just marketing, but it doesn't make you that guy, right? So if you're not Hulk Hogan, the guy that took his vitamins, said his prayers, you know, bang and clanked it in the gym, you know, stood for good in the American way. If you were not that guy, then who were you? Well, you were Terry Bolla. And all I know about Terry Bolla is that his kids didn't want to talk to him anymore. And his wife, you know, hated him. And he had affair after affair. And again, like I don't even want to have these conversations. I forgot that I shouldn't even be talking like this, but it's hard because it's such a complex thing. You know what I mean? People on
Yeah.
both sides have such great points. Like you can't forget who Hogan was, while at the same time, you know, maybe give it 24 hours before you start reminding everybody he's a giant piece of shit. I don't know. I just
Okay.
maybe I'm softer in my older age. Maybe I've been domesticated.
Yeah, right.
Hey, who won Love Island, by the way?
Oh, what's her name?
Not Huga?
Amaya and Brian.
Amaya and Brian. Oh, they pick up. Oh yeah, of course. So wait, are they like now they're in love now? They win love with each other? What do they win?
They won $100,000 and they split
That's
it with
it?
they won $100,000 and they split it with each other. I mean, that's not really
What do
it.
you
Like,
mean? 50,000 a piece?
yeah.
That's like terrible. But I
Okay,
guess
but
they
the
all
thing is
split
that she's also getting Brando. She's also going on Call Her Daddy. She's also going
Oh,
on
yeah, yeah, yeah,
different
yeah. So
things.
there's a lot, yeah. So and their social media probably blew up, which they're making
Yeah,
money.
like social
Yeah,
media, like
okay,
you know,
that's fair. And it's not like
Huda.
they worked hard.
Wait, did you know Huda surpassed the like she's the most followed of all like the people on Love Island?
No shit. Yeah, that
Yeah,
does not surprise me at all. That does not surprise me at all.
I think it's because she
I
brings a
saw
drama a lot.
that's very true. Ash showed me some clips of her interview on Call Me Daddy. She has a really sad story.
Yeah.
I hate to put it this way because it makes I don't want to sound like a, you know, gross, judgy married guy or anything like that, but I don't know. It's not that, oh, I could kind of tell like I'm a fucking therapist or something, but she had the demeanor of a person who seemed to have a complicated relationship with men. You know what I mean? And that's not like I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying like I don't want to say it kind of made sense. That sounds fucked up. What I mean is you could see the trauma. You could see the trauma in her
Through her actions.
through even when she was happy, you could see the drama. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the only thing. But I'll tell you what though, dude, they would make so much money if they got into wrestling. I honestly, they would just, I mean, because everybody wants to see them fight, right? Everybody wants to see the
Oh
drama between
yeah.
them. They would, Huda would make so much money if she became a pro wrestler. I wish
Yeah.
they still had Total Divas and they did like a whole Diva
Oh
show
my
versus the Love
gosh.
Island show and they just wrestled. Hopefully
Yeah.
Vince isn't back in time or he might put him in mud or some stupid shit.
Is Huda from the hood?
You're asking the wrong person. All right. Well, I guess they dropped off, but that was it anyway. We went a little over when we should have. So please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. Infighting FX on YouTube, Twitch, X, IG, and TikTok. All of it. Infighting FX, Infighting Exchange, Infighting FX is the social media. So please hit the like, subscribe, everything. And until next time, peace.